Are we alive? I certainly hope we are. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest live show of all time. That is right, everybody. Today we're doing another episode of whatever the hell this is. That's right. For any of the VOD watchers, I may or may not include timestamps in the description below after the fact, depending on whether or not we do stream segments, you know. Maybe we'll make some of them into videos, who knows. Assuming that I'm not lazy, which I am, so, it is under a false assumption, to be fair. With that being said, hello, Jay White, and congratulations on being the first person in chat. Hello, Alexandria Myers, saying meow. I agree. But yeah, hey, baby girl, I'm first. Indeed, you are, in fact, first. How did you know? You must be a genius. Hello, Femyoz, and congratulations on being the third person in chat. Very good to see you again as well. That's right. Hello, Foxy. Hope you're doing well. If not, I'm gonna be very sad. Because I'm daddy. I see. Hello, Nobis. Hope you're doing well. Saying good evening, Femyoz. Why, hello, L86L. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. Hello, Phantom. Hello, GT Sans. Hello, Communism. Wow, interesting name. Hello, Cheetah Man. Hope you're doing well. How's your day? Mid. Honestly, it's been mid. You know, we all have a bunch of mid days. Most days are mid, to be fair, right? Am I right? You know, it could be worse technically. Though dude, I ran out of my anti-androgen, my T blocker, Spyro. So hopefully, estrogen in the meantime suppresses my T levels enough to where it's not an issue. But I should be able to get them back within a week. So. Regardless, I don't like when that happens. It happens occasionally where it's just like, I set up an appointment, but it's like, slightly after when I would get, when I need to get like prescribed another thing. But in terms of injections, it's like fine because you can always, let's be real. They say after 4 uses or after 28 days, I think, that to throw away the vial of estrogen. You can keep that shit for as long as you want. I'm gonna be real, like, look, unless it's like discolored or something, it's probably fine. So, it's one of those things, that's how I view it at least. Anyways. Don't go bald in the meantime. I don't think that I would. Estrogen is a natural T suppressant, so it should be fine. I think my appointment is gonna be, I don't know, next week. Yeah, early next week, I think. I'd have to check the specific. I'm very good at remembering dates, as you can see, chat. So maybe not. It could be worse. It could be worse. Could be worse. My hair could be worse too, even though it already is a mess. But it's not the worst. Yeah. Comes back with a beard. Exactly, dude. I'm gonna come back with a beard. How did you know? Oh my god, that's crazy. Okay. Anyways, no, I don't think that would cause that. But it is better to have a T blocker. You're not gonna get the full effects of estrogen without it. But ideally, I mean, it does suppress your T naturally, but still, you gotta. If I send money for a pizza, will you order it on stream? No, probably not. It's late. I don't know what I would do with a whole ass pizza. Bro, I'm not hungry. I don't even know if I could eat an entire slice of pizza right now. I'm not that hungry. I don't know. Beard or mustache? No, I don't think we're gonna have a beard or mustache arc. From like what would it be, like less than a week of no spironolactone, and I still am on estrogen, so it's like whatever. It's not a huge deal. Share the pizza with yeah, true. I'm gonna order a large pepperoni pizza, and I'm just gonna teleport some slices through the computer screen or phone screen, depending on what you're on. Hello, Redhead. Very good to see you again. It's been a while. Hello, Ethan George. Oh, wait. I already read one of your chat messages. Why am I saying hello now instead of first? Hello, Juan Leo. Hope you're doing well. No preference, beard. Dude, we're not having a beard or mustache arc. This is never happening. We're never doing it. That's all I'm gonna say. We're never gonna have one of those arcs. All right? I hate to break it to you. Who would you kiss, Omni-Man or Homelander? Uh, I don't know, probably neither. I don't know. What do I get out of it? What are my benefits? Um, Good evening, love. Always great to see you. Good to see you too, Mark Lar. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, curly mustache. True. If I was gonna grow a mustache, I would grow one of those like like those fucking not handlebar mustaches. You know, like the ones where it's like they put the gel in it and they fucking twirl it at the ends because like they're evil cartoon villains. If I was gonna have a full-on mustache, I would do that shit, okay? I'd be like a cartoon villain I'd like twirl my mustache around. All right. That's the only way I'd ever be willing to do it. Like no, not like Mario. There's like it's like a very specific where like it's like a, hold on. Let me give you an example, all right? Cartoon villain mustache. Okay? I'll give you guys some examples of what I'm talking about here. Like, something like yeah, so yeah, this is like, oh god. It's like broken. So like something like this, right? Where it's like it goes out a bunch and then it like sort of like it's like a circle at the end. Yeah, it'd be like that. I'd want a mustache like that if I was gonna have a mustache. All right. That's the only way I would ever be willing to do it. Anything else, I would just nah. But that would be the only thing that would be worth the dysphoria if I was gonna have a mustache. Is what I'm trying to say here. Are you naturally blonde? Your hair is so pretty. Why, thank you. And yes, I am naturally blonde. Anyways, that's called a dig dastardly mustache. Is that so? Hassan didn't electrocute his dog. I saw a discourse about that. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I think he it looked like he did, but also he showed that the collar wasn't a shot collar. But then there's also people saying that he modified it. I have no idea. And I'm gonna be real. I don't know anything about Hassan. I don't know. When I cover YouTube drama, it's usually not related to Hassan or any of those people because it's just those people bore me. The best is back on YouTube. You better believe I am. The best, in fact, is back on YouTube. That's right. Dude, I'd like to imagine it's just no, I'm actually talking to a completely different YouTuber that just so happens to be back at exactly the same time as you. I'm actually talking about this other guy that I like way more. You actually suck. I hate your content. I'm growing a beard right now. Yeah, I hear that when it comes to okay, wait, men in chat, how long does it take you to grow beards? How long does it take? If you want like a visible beard, how long would it take for you to get a full face of hair? I'm actually curious because I was never able to grow anything. The most I would be able to grow was a really shitty, scraggly ass mustache. I looked like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo if I didn't shave. And it would take kind of a while to grow, And it wasn't worth it at all. I couldn't even do the denial beard era that a lot of trannies have. Which I'd say is for the better. Because I really didn't want facial hair. Sometimes I was just too lazy to shave it, really. There are men in this chat, allegedly. 5 days? You can grow a beard in two days? It takes a month? Okay, that sounds more normal / reasonable. In the cold, about 3 days. It takes you 3 days to grow a whole ass beard? Bro. Your T levels must be crazy high. Damn. Mine grows fast, thus my whole Ginger Jesus persona real. 3 weeks. I might be able to grow, if I really tried, maybe I could grow a scraggly mustache in 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's how occasionally back in high school there'll be that one 14-year-old guy that has a scraggly ass mustache because they're trying to look older than they actually are, but they really just look retarded. Yeah, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. I'm 6 feet tall, so my T is high as fuck. I don't think that has anything to do with your T level. Maybe there's a correlation there, but it is entirely possible and oftentimes the case that people that are tall will have low T levels and people that are short will have high T levels, right? Anyways, You funny, homie? Yeah, that's my clockiest trait as a trans woman. You know, because women aren't funny. So, that's how you know that I'm different. What do you consider full beard? I don't know, like, that'd be like you can like, it'd be like, I don't know, like the same length as like, or like the same amount of hair outwards as like your eyebrow if you were to like to hold your eyebrow. I don't know. I don't know, like where it's like you can clearly see like enough where you can't see really the skin behind it, I guess, is what I'm saying. Does that make sense? I don't know, maybe some people are referring to like 5 o'clock shadows when they're like, oh yeah, like a day or two. Cause like I feel like, yeah, like obviously like 2 days for like a whole ass beard where it's like you can't see the skin behind the beard. OMG, she's getting more girly. Her voice is changing. Who, me? I haven't really done that much voice training. I've done like a little bit, but it's like every once in a while I'll do something where it's like, yeah, I want to make my voice a little bit more feminine, and then I'll just keep doing that, and then I won't do anything to make it worse again. Yes, 2 days. 7 days for like a stubble. Yeah, that's like me for like the mustache area and like a few chin hairs, but nowhere else. But like calling it stubble is a little bit generous. I don't even know. It's like if it's stubble a day or two, but a long beard, I can pull in about a month. Dude, a long beard in a month, bro. That's crazy to me. I was never able, dude. In a month, if I didn't shave for a month, which I think I've done, I think I'd get like, 3 chin hairs you could see, maybe like a little bit of a shadow on my upper lip or above my upper lip, on my philtrum, I guess. You know? Anyways, give me a beard. No. Yeah, I don't. I've never understood wanting a beard though. To be fair, you know, I've never understood that. But again, that's probably because like, I'm femme-brained or something. I don't know. Takes me a while to grow facial hair as well. Oh, well, I'm not capable of it, and I don't want to be capable of it because being capable of it would mean that I'd have to shave more. I don't want to have facial hair, so I'm lucky. Beard is makeup for men. Unironically, yeah, you're kind of right. Like, because then you like, it's like the male equivalent of like, okay, you know how like women will get like layers with their hair and like will do a bunch of shit with their hair and stuff. Okay, unless you're me and you're lazy, of course, okay, to be fair, I have layers, but I don't really do that much. Like, I don't really style it that much. I just kind of put some product in it and hope for the best. But, that's besides the point. But with men, it's like that, but with their beards. So, like, especially, like, if men have, like, a weaker jawline, something I'll notice is that, like, they might look a lot more conventionally attractive. I might find them more attractive without the beard because I'm me, and generally I find facial hair less attractive. That's my personal preference. But a lot of times if if a guy has like a more feminine sort of chin or jaw, they'll grow out their facial hair. And the reason that they do this is to sort of it sort of frames their face. The way that my hair frames my face to look more feminine, their beards frame their face to make it more masculine, right? It's a very gender affirming thing, I presume. And a lot of men might not want to hear that. Oh, gender affirming. That sounds like something a tranny would say. This is gender. But I mean, it's true. I mean, it rings true for everyone, right? It's just people don't think about it the same way if they're cis. They just sort of do that as like the default, because like they never had it any other way. They were never forced inside of a different box that they don't fit into, So it's like, oh yeah, of course I want to have a beard to look more masculine if you're a guy. Or yeah, of course I want to get my hair layered to look more feminine, right? But that's just like the default. It's not something that they really had to think about. It was just like a, yeah, obviously kind of thing. I heard someone say gender theory is fascist. I never heard that before. Well, now you have. There's always going to be somebody that says some deranged shit. What can I say? True, I have facial hair and it makes me look more masculine. Yeah, and for the same reason that you like having facial hair as a dude, I dislike having it as a woman, right? You like it because it makes you more masculine. I dislike it because it would make me more masculine, right? If I were to grow a beard, if I woke up with a beard tomorrow, I would be devastated. I would cry, right? Um, anyways, Hitler was a gender theorist. Yeah, that's true. He was known for being very pro-trans. That's definitely what he was known for. He totally didn't burn a bunch of trans literature that was, scientific literature about trans people. He totally didn't send gay people or trans people to camps. No, no, that wasn't the case. Yeah, beard. Yeah, chat. Should I grow a beard? What do you guys think? Since I haven't, dude, I'm not gonna have my T blockers for like up to a week maybe. I don't know, but I've got estrogen still, so that will suppress my T. Um, I don't think I had particularly high T levels to start out with. I actually don't know what they are. It didn't say on the thingy, so I guess I'll never know what my T levels are naturally, but oh well. I don't really care. I'm not gonna go off of estrogen to find out. uh Hair is tough? Hell yeah. I agree, Trash Rat. Um anyways. Women have beards too, sure. Yeah, generally we don't. It is technically, but I'm not gonna grow a beard, by the way. Even if I could, I wouldn't. I'm sorry. To be honest, mine grows so fast it becomes so much work to shave twice a day, so I let it grow. Yeah, fair. I mean, if it's a problem, just I'd recommend laser, of course, or electrolysis. Anyways, no shit, you have low T as a boy. No, really? Oh, dude, I can't believe you would say that. Oh, that really hurt my feelings and totally doesn't affirm, you know, the good things I would want to feel about myself, which is that I'm not particularly masculine. Um, anyways. It's a boy but trans. Interesting, interesting. A boy but trans. Now, I find that terminology interesting. Because you don't say man, you say boy. How old do you think I am? I'm curious. How much of male puberty do you think I went through? Ah, so now I look masculine. See, notice how as soon as I'm like, oh yeah, I actually feel really good when people are like, no, you're just like really, really feminine for a guy. And now suddenly it's like, no, actually, you're super masculine. You're like the most masculine man ever. 21, 20, old enough. 4 years old. 22, 20, 75%. 75% of what? 20, 23 or 22, 20. Aren't you like 23, 21? With a face of 17? You look very feminine. 67. Oh, so I look like I've gone through 75% of male puberty. Okay. That makes sense. 25, 24, 21. She's 21, 41, 19, 41. Anyways, I think you're doing great. Honestly, thank you. 21. Well, I am 21, so to all the people that guessed 21, you're correct. To the person guessing random Bible verses, you're incorrect. Hate to break it to you. No, barely legal is crazy. Do I look barely legal? She is, but a babe. Barely able to drink alcohol? That's true. That's true. I am barely old enough to drink alcohol. Yeah, I know. I'm not actually 4 years old. Hey, Sage. I love your makeup. Thank you, Goddess Cherry. I appreciate that. I'm only wearing mascara. I also, trimmed my eyebrows a little bit. And by that, I mean, like, plucking a little bit. Also, I might stop doing, I don't know if, I might start, what is it, shaving them instead of plucking them? Because apparently plucking them is, like, bad for the hair follicles, I've heard. And sometimes it might not grow back. I heard somebody say that, and I don't know if that's true or not. I just assumed that that wasn't the case. But you look good natural. Well, thank you. I would ID you before serving you a drink. Honestly, fair. I don't blame you. Femi is so hot she could just wear mascara and look like a model. I don't know if that's true. But looking like a model would be awesome. But nah. No, I'm not built like a model. I think if I got FFS, I could have potential for being a model in terms of my face. In terms of my body, I don't think so. I got some fucking broad ass shoulders. You know. I just found out I am trans. Do you have any advice? Look, my advice is get on HRT as soon as possible. Do research. Figure out if it would be safe to come out wherever the fuck you are. Figure out your situation. Don't be too stressed about it. You're gonna be okay. Alright? If you're just realizing that you're trans, I promise you, it's only gonna get better on average, right? As you transition, generally, things get better. If it's the case that you're trans. Again, your lowest point will be, generally right before you start transitioning. That'll be the lowest, or one of the lowest points. I know it was for me. I can't speak for everyone. You look like a very woman, English not native language. Well, thank you, Meme Asylum. Very much appreciated. I'd still smash, hell yeah. Cute how you apply lip gloss. Am I doing it wrong? Am I doing it wrong? Anyways. You're so pretty. Thank you, Maple. Femyoz, you give me gender envy. Good job. Oh, fuck, I said the J slur. Oops, my bad. No! Gosh darn it. Femyoz makes me want to touch myself. Very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Oh, you're... Okay. I'm likely gonna get shot if I come out. Okay, don't come out. Do HRT if you can. You live in the shithole known as Florida. I am very sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. Do you like guys or girls? Well, I'm bisexual, so both. But I'm predominantly attracted to women, so... technically I'm bisexual, but functionally I'm lesbian. I think that's a good way of putting it. Where it's like, yeah, most guys I'm not into. But, like, that's the thing is, like... Here's the thing about that, though, okay? Alright. I'm male socialized, okay? I'm male socialized, and I'm attracted to women primarily. But I'll fuck around with the guys. I'll fuck around with the guys sometimes. You know what I mean? It's not gay if it's with the homies and you're a woman. So, it's... That's how it works. So you're straight? No? I said I'm bi. Anyways. Aren't you a debater? Occasionally. Not very often. Why? Maybe I'll start doing debates again. I don't know. Can I have your dick when they take it? Yeah. Sure. We'll go with that. I don't know. I don't think I intend on getting bottom surgery, to be fair, though. I don't know. I'm not gonna, like, guarantee it, but, like, I don't know, like... Do you like any music artists? I mean... I guess, like... I don't usually just listen to, like, one person, but, like... I think Isproki is pretty good. AKA Steppy. Bi with a female preference, yay. Hell yeah. So your name is Queer Socialist. You're probably quite similar to me. You're queer and a socialist. Now, maybe you're a different flavor of queer. Maybe you have a different aesthetic. But, something tells me you'll enjoy the channel. Because I'm not like your, I'm not the stereotypical, limp dick liberal, fucking, I think we need to resolve our differences. And, both sides have gone too far. And, I'm not one of those cucks, okay? I'm not a limp dick liberal. No. I am a massive erection leftist instead, okay? That's right. I'm not like the other girls. Yes, I am very pro-Palestine, anti-Israel. Indeed. You may want to detransition. Your views may change at some point. Oh, thank you, Mother Royal. I'm gonna be sure to detransition just because of you. That's right. Anyways. Hey, I have a child that was born as a female that identifies as male. I'm super supportive. Any advice on how I can do better? Well, okay, so if your son is a trans guy, right? Your son is a trans man or trans boy, whatever. Just treat him how you would treat any other dude. Listen to him. He probably knows a lot more about his own experience than you do, right? Just, listen to what he has to say. Be supportive. Support him the way that you would support any other son that you might have. You know? You're beautiful and perfect the way you are. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. What can I say? Anyways, I drink oil, as you should, as you should. But what kind of oil do you drink? Free Palestine? Oh, wait. What do you mean, oh, wait? I'm just in favor of free Palestine. And what I mean by that is I think that Palestinians should be treated equally to everybody else. I don't think that they should be second-class citizens the way that they have been. You know, before October 7th, there was still conflict before October 7th, believe it or not. Right? And as bad as October 7th is, right, we can't fail to recognize what led up to it. What led up to Hamas existing? What are the material conditions that took place? And what took place is that any resistance, including peaceful resistance, was fucking smited out of existence by the Israeli government, all except for, well, Hamas. Because Hamas was really just controlled opposition. And at this point, it's now, well, their scapegoat for committing a genocide. And that's all very intentional. That's by design. I want to clarify that, you know, as bad as Hamas is, Hamas wouldn't exist if Palestinians weren't treated like second-class citizens in the first place. Hell, I was pro-Palestine before this was like a popular take to have, right? I was very much so anti-Israeli government. You know, back when I was a teenager, you know, back when I was like 16, and it wasn't a left or a right issue back then. That wasn't how it was seen. It was just I know more than most people about this issue, right? I didn't even look that much further into it, right? So maybe now I wouldn't say that I'm like an expert on it, right? But I did a little bit of research on it for one of my classes that I had in high school. And I found that, yeah, this shit is fucking awful. Like, these people are treated very unfairly. So, you know, it's like, hating Israel is a big W, yes. But don't take that as me enabling any anti-Semitism either. Because I've seen people try to run with that. I've seen people either A, in bad faith claim that I'm anti-Semitic, or B, people trying to use it in bad faith to be anti-Semitic. But notice how I say I'm anti-Zionist, not anti-Jewish, not even anti-Israeli citizen. No, I am anti-Zionist. I am against the ideology of Zionism. Also, thank you, Commentary Connoisseur, for the $5, you beautiful fucking bastard, saying, religion is just like gender dysphoria. It is a mental illness, and sick people don't know they're sick when it comes to mental health. Well, not necessarily. For instance, a lot of depressed people are aware of the fact that they're depressed. Also, if it's the case that you're diagnosed with gender dysphoria, there's treatment for it, known as gender-affirming care. But yeah, wait, Commentary Connoisseur, are you from the commentary community? Are you a who's relevant in commentary now? Fucking Chud Logic. Are you a Chud Logic viewer? Dude. This is why I don't watch commentary anymore. Dude, I miss the old days, okay? I miss when the main friend group in commentary was Augie RFC, Tipster, Nicholas Diorio, John Swan, and Bovlax, okay? That's my commentary community, okay? Anything else is not my commentary community, all right? That's the only commentary community I'll ever support. All right, that's what I grew up with. Anyways, even if it is all Hamas, they are deeply rooted in the Israeli government. True. Anyways. Femi, make a heart for my edit. Wait, how do people do like the... I know there's like the one where they do it with like 4 fingers, like... I don't know if I'm doing it right. Is it like... I don't know. Or is it... I might just do it like... Like, is it easier? Like, fuck, I can't do it right. I'm terrible at this. Wait, fuck. I'm really autistic. I can't do this. Yeah, I think it's like... Wait, no, that's lopsided. Ooh. Am I doing it right? I have no idea. Good, thank you. All right. Good enough then. Girl, I love your voice. I'm glad you love my voice. I'm glad you enjoy it. What are we doing on the stream tonight? What are we watching? We might go over Jubilee Tent. I don't know. Because, like, here's the thing about Jubilee, though. All right, fair warning. Apparently, they're very, very bad when it comes to copyright. So I'm going to have to, like, pause Andy the fuck out of it. And even then, I don't know how much that would do. Because, you know. So it'll be, it's an opportunity for me to shit on Michael Knowles, essentially. All right? So, thoughts on Hassan killing his I don't think he's killing his dog. Like, there's allegations about him using a shot collar. I haven't looked into it, so I don't know. I'm not gonna hold a strong position one way or the other, because it's like, I don't know, he showed the collar not being a shot collar, but also the model of collar might have been a shot collar. I don't fucking know, dude. Hassan is not using a shot collar. Look, I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I don't know. Reddit detectives on both sides are saying stuff that's way more in-depth than any analysis that I could have. I'm a dumb YouTuber, and I only cover YouTube drama when I feel like it, okay? And I haven't done any research on it, so I'm not going to have a strong position until I do research on it. And most controversies I will never do any research on. I shocked myself for curiosity with my dog's collar. It hurts. Yeah, who would have guessed? Okay, look, here's my take on the Hassan dog collar controversy, okay? Also, thank you another one for the $2, you beautiful fucking bastard, saying it's not a shot collar, can confirm. Look, people are saying things on both ends of the aisle. I'm not an enlightened centrist. I'm not saying one side is correct or incorrect. I'm not saying that the centrist position of, oh, it's impossible to deduce who's correct either, right? It could be very obvious and I'm just retarded and haven't looked into it, right? That's also a possibility. But I'm also too lazy to look into it, so I'm not gonna state a position because I don't fucking know. You know, shot collar is animal abuse. True. Okay, look, the fact of the matter is we're asking ourselves the wrong questions. The question isn't whether or not there was a shot collar. The question isn't if there was a shot collar, why did Hassan use a shot collar on his dog? The question is, why didn't Hassan put the shot collar on me? That's the real question. Why am I not the one with the shot collar that Hassan is using? All right? That's the question we should be asking. Yo, thank you, Colin Lacey, for the $2, saying Trump 2028. Well, glad to see that you're very mask off, you're anti-constitution. What is it, the 22nd Amendment? I believe it's the 22nd Amendment that you're very much opposed to. Hold on. Which one is it? 22nd Amendment? Let's see here. Ooh, what's this? Section 1 of the 22nd Amendment. No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. And no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term, to which other blah, 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 you get the point. This is for like if a president dies and the vice president's in office. But no person shall be elected to the office of president more than twice. That is written in the Constitution. If you disagree with that, you hate America. You are anti-Constitution. Thank you another one for the additional $2, you beautiful fucking bastard, saying, I also want Hassan's dog collar, be Kaya number 2. Aw, yeah, let's go. It was a joke? It was a joke. Well, thank you. Thank you for the $2. I'm autistic, so I couldn't tell it was a joke. But it's actually not that. There are unironically people who believe that Trump should have a third term. It's very scary stuff. It's like the most blatant form of fascism imaginable. Because at the end of the day, they don't want checks and balances. They don't want separation of church and state. They want a big, strong guy. They want a strong man who controls the government from the top down, who can act as almost like a king-like figure for them, right? Because they don't like checks and balances. They don't want any of that. They want people like Trump to erode the Constitution the way that he's been, going against, what is it, the First Amendment for sure, very anti-free speech. He is arguably the most anti-free speech president we've had in, like, I don't know, a fucking century or some shit, okay? He's one of the most anti-free speech presidents in the history of our nation. Additionally, it is worth noting that, what is it, the Fifth Amendment? No, sorry, wait. Which one's or is it the Fourth Amendment? Fifth Amendment is the one where you have the right to not speak. I think it's the Fourth Amendment. I think the Fourth Amendment is the one where you have the right to due process. Nope, that's unreasonable searches and seizures. Okay, wait, no. Due process amendment. It was... Okay, it was in the Fifth Amendment. Okay, I was right the first time. Okay, I'm retarded. Yeah, so due process is a part of the Fifth Amendment. Okay, so okay, my intuition was right. Okay? My intuition was correct. Fact of the matter is, well, as per usual, of course. We all know that you're retarded. No, I was just questioning my intuition, and my intuition is always right, okay? Democrats are always anti-free speech. No, that's not true. Look, fact of the matter is, I vote Democrat. I don't agree with the Democrats on anything. Hell, when there are people that are on my side that are advocating for things like censorship, I will be the first person to call them out and say, hey, by the way, censorship doesn't help us. It doesn't help anybody, right? It doesn't make the people stop existing, right? Censorship is bad. However, right now, it is predominantly right-wingers that are in favor of censorship because they are the ones in power. Whoever is in favor of censorship the most is generally going to be the people that are, well, in power or perceive themselves to be in power because they don't view themselves as the potential victims of this. But I see beyond this. I see beyond this because I view myself as a potential victim of the kind of institution that would censor a right-winger for their political speech because those institutions can be flipped on their heads and censor me for my speech, which is what you see now. For example, there are many instances in which, people are being arrested without due process for being Palestinian protesters, for saying speech that the government doesn't like. This is not just big tech censorship anymore, which is something that I've advocated against, by the way. I have been a major proponent against big tech censorship. In fucking 2022, when Biden was in office, when all of the conservatives were screeching from the rooftops about how they're being censored, I said, you're being dramatic. Don't get me wrong. These people are dramatic. You are screaming on mainstream TV into a megaphone in front of a large audience about how you're being censored. Fucking bullshit. You're a mainstream figure. But at the same time, I would advocate against big tech censorship. I always said that I am not in favor of YouTube censoring people that I disagree with politically. Not once have I ever advocated for, the Daily Wire YouTube channel to get fucking terminated or anything like that, right? Even though I think that what they do is a net harm. But at the same time, I've noticed that right-wingers that claim to care about free speech, and I'm not saying all right-wingers, there's some right-wingers that are more principled. They're going to be wrong about a lot of shit, but they're going to be a little bit more principled, and they're actually going to care about free speech. But the majority that I've seen, that I've interacted with, have been nothing but the most annoying, reprehensible, anti-free speech motherfuckers imaginable, who think that people should be censored for making edgy jokes about Charlie Kirk or for saying that Charlie Kirk was a bad person, as if I shouldn't be allowed to share that opinion. I think he was a terrible person, and I should have the right to say that on social media without people threatening to get my fucking job taken away, without people saying that people need to be that people need to be kicked out of school for that, or that they should have that they should contact their employers and dox them. It's the most ridiculous shit ever. It is trying to scare people into submission because they don't want people to say things that they don't like. Let him rest in peace. Look, I could say the same thing about George Floyd, but guess what? I won't, because A, that would make me a hypocrite, and B, I've made George Floyd jokes as well. Right? Now, granted, the reason that I think George Floyd jokes are funny is for a very different reason from a lot of the people that disagree with me in chat. Because at the end of the day, George Floyd was murdered without due process. Derek Chauvin acted as the judge, jury, and executioner in that instance and was completely in the wrong. But at the same time, George Droid memes are fucking hilarious, so it's not going to stop me from making George Droid memes. Why? Because I can be funny and a leftist at the same time. I know, crazy. But if you think that Charlie Kirk was a hero, you are sadly mistaken. He was a status quo warrior. He was the #1 defender of Israel. He was in favor of sending more money to Israel. He was a fascist. He thought that gender affirming care should be banned for everyone. He opposed the Civil Rights Act. So He wasn't a particularly good person. But all right. Anyways, say what you want, but you can't avoid the repercussions of your words. Ah, the classic, well, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequences line. Isn't that like a line that you used to make fun of, supposed left-wingers for? Also, thank you so much, Batau Crafter, for the $40, you beautiful fucking bastard. Can we get some 07s in chat for Batau Crafter? Massive dono, thank you so much. Saying, hi Femi, good to see you again. Thank you so much, it is so good to see you as well, Batau Crafter. Very good to see you again as well. Thank you so much for the dono. Very much appreciated. Anyways, he was a Zio-shill, kind of like you, since you support the other half of the hegemony, Democrats. No. You're sadly mistaken. I vote for the Democrats not because I support them, but because they're the lesser of two evils. If that was Charlie Kirk's rhetoric, I might be a little bit more sympathetic to him if he thought that, like, the Republicans were the lesser of two evils, right? Now, granted, I would think that he's retarded, because that's just not borne out in what we see happen in reality, but I'd be more sympathetic to that sort of viewpoint, right? That's something that I would be able to, have more of like a, civil disagreement about. Like, okay, well, what are the problems that we have with both sides, supposedly? Who is worse in these regards? What are some other issues that are important, that are worth talking about, right? What are the distinguishing variables that set these two parties apart? But in terms of policy positions, what exactly sets Charlie Kirk apart from Trump? Nothing. Nothing sets them apart. Nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. Look, the fact of the matter is, yeah, sure. You could make the argument that, yeah, both the Democrats and the Republicans are in favor of sending more money to Israel. And that's true. That's true. But the difference is that when I say you should vote for the Democrats, I'm not saying it because I support the Democrats. I'm saying it because the Republicans are worse than the Democrats. And I will criticize the Democrats for shilling for Israel. Do you want to know what my stance on Joe Biden was when he was in office? Do you want to know what kind of names I called him? I called him Genocide Joe. Why? Because he was also funding the genocide in Gaza. You think I was like super on board with everything that Joe Biden was doing? Do you think I was on board with the genocide in Gaza when Biden was in office? No. But I would 10 out of 10 times vote for Biden over Trump. Why? Because he's less bad. Both of them are shills for Israel. Palestine is free. Trump just made peace. Well, that's not true. Palestine is not free. What you're going to see is a return to what it was like right before October 7th, where there's going to be unrest the way there was before October 7th. The Israel-Palestine conflict didn't start on October 7th. Now, people often think that it did. It didn't. You're delusional if you think it did. You have fallen for Zionist propaganda if you think that the conflict started on October 7th. It started decades ago. Decades ago. Not October 7th. Not slightly before October 7th. No. We are talking a conflict that was decades long. Many, many decades. To claim that it started on October 7th, to claim that it was peaceful before then, is straight up ignorance. To the highest degree. October 7th was uncalled for. Yet nobody is saying that October 7th was justified. But it didn't happen in a fucking vacuum. Right? What caused October 7th? What caused it? Why did October 7th take place? You're what, 18? You don't know shit? Well, first of all, I'm 21. And secondly, the validity of my opinions or my arguments is not contingent upon how old I am. Being old doesn't make you any more correct. Old people are more racist on average. That doesn't make them more correct. Palestine is free? Really? Is it the case that Palestinians are being treated like first-class citizens now? What is the freedom? What is part of the agreement? Where's the part of the agreement where Palestinians are actually free and not oppressed and not treated like second-class citizens the way that they were before what you perceive to be the beginning of the conflict, which in reality is an escalation of the existing conflict. Bill Clinton made a treaty. Palestinians declined it. What was the treaty? What was in the treaty? Explain what was in the treaty that defends the rights of Palestinians. Where in the treaty does it say that, yeah, Palestinians are going to be citizens, first-class citizens, the way that Israelis are? Can you find me the part of the treaty that says that? Oh, wait, you can't, because there fucking is none. Do you think Palestinians support trans? Look, Palestinians could be the most vehemently transphobic people on average in the whole world, and I would still have the same position, which is that, no, we shouldn't have an ethnic group be treated like second-class citizens on that basis. No, we shouldn't do a genocide. It doesn't matter how anti-trans they are, right? They can be the most anti-trans motherfuckers, and I still won't change my position on that. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really have much of a bearing on the correctness of my arguments. I know, it's crazy. Well, who would have guessed me being the most principled motherfucker? Wow. Holy shit. That's crazy. Anyways. Also, what the fuck? Dude, I hate this new fucking layout that YouTube is using. Because now I can't see how much I've gotten in terms of super chats and memberships. This is awful. This is why? Why did they change it? It was fine before. Nobody asked for this. Anyways, YouTube Shorts built in now? What do you mean? Built into what? Yeah, YouTube does love downgrading. Nah, for real. YouTube is just yeah, but what if we made YouTube slightly worse? Opinion on Hamas? How many times do I have to say yeah, Hamas is bad. Hamas bad. Before people stop asking me, do you condemn Hamas? It's a trick question. The answer is never, by the way. The answer is never. It doesn't matter. Because people will ask it in bad faith anyway. Yet nobody supports Hamas. Sorry, just not happening. Oh, but what about this Twitter left? I don't care. I don't care what Glup Shido on Twitter has to say. I know, crazy. Wow. Whoa. You can not support the way Palestine treats LGBT people and not support genocide. Yeah, exactly. But apparently that's a really, complicated and difficult concept to grasp somehow. But yeah. It looks like that the layout is no different on PC in terms of, the actual stream itself. It's just okay, so basically the thing is the same, except worse. So it's the same for you, it's worse for me. So there's no also, not that there would be a benefit to, you get the point. There wouldn't be a benefit to removing the stats that show me the fucking thingy. What if I go to viewer activity? Okay, so if I go to viewer activity, it'll show all the donation, but it won't show the total amount of money made. Okay, that's awesome. I don't know why. I don't know why YouTube decided, yeah, I really want to not show how much money you're making today. But I digress. Anyways. Oh. All right. Let's see here. Obama 2028. True. I'd be more willing to support that than Trump 2028. Obama 2028, I'd support that over Trump 2028. If it was Obama running against Trump, that'd be kind of, that's the one instance where, violating that part of the Constitution, fine, but only because it's Obama versus Trump, and that would be fun to watch. Okay? Other than that, though, it's like, Obama was a pawn. You mean like every politician? Trans femme Hassan? I'd like to think I'm a little bit different from Hassan. I don't even watch Hassan. I don't even. So, considering the fact that when I sort of started out covering politics, I actually started out by watching Hunter Avila, who's a liberal. He's a dirty, dirty liberal. No, he's actually kind of based. He's like a social democrat, I think. And then I found out about Vosh. And, I really liked Vosh because Vosh was cool. And he said all the things that I was thinking, but more articulate. But he was also further left to me. Like, he was further left than me at the time. Then I moved to the left. Then I found out that Vosh is actually a bad person and, has drawn child pornography and bestiality porn on his computer. So then I stopped supporting him. So now I'm at, this weird point where I just do my own thing because I refuse to orbit any YouTuber. At one point I actually wanted to be a Vosh orbiter. The only thing that was stopping me, really, was the fact that, he was in his Fortress arc. He was already doing his Fortress arc by then. So, never would have worked. Which I'm glad because, I don't know how I would have navigated that situation, had he not been on his Fortress arc. And let's say he had, promoted me a bunch. I think the best thing I could have done at that point is just, quietly distance myself. I don't know. I don't know. No, honestly, I feel like I would have called him out anyway. Look, here's the thing. I'm thinking in a hypothetical situation. Hypothetically, what would the best thing be as a content creator? But what would I actually do is very different. Okay, I do things that shoot myself in the foot all the time because it's I can't shut my mouth. I would initially defend him the way that I initially did, without having all the evidence. Then I would be shown counter evidence, and then I'd be like, "Ooh, yeah, okay, nah, yeah, fuck this guy," and I would have isolated myself from everybody, which would be awesome. But anyways, you're too cute. Thank you, Juan. I appreciate that. Funny, pretty sure politics is what's destroying America. Well, what kind of politics? At this point, it just seems like a giant farm for slaves in order for the wealthy to live comfortably. Well, I mean, that's what right-wingers are in favor of, is it not? I mean, I'm in favor of the working class having more power. As a leftist, I mean, that's kind of the whole point. Is, the people have power, not people at the top, not oligarchs. Anyways. Funny, Charlie Kirk was a good guy. He wasn't a good guy. Never abused dogs or fucked kids. But God forbid he believed in something different. The dog, he believed, he was against the Civil Rights Act. You can be against people abusing dogs and fucking, I'm sorry. These are not mutually exclusive. So for the reasons that I dislike Vosh, or he's a bad person, the reason I might not like Hassan have less to do with his politics and who he is as a person, right? I don't know. I don't know too much about the dog thing. This is new stuff. I haven't looked into it, right? If it's the case that that's true about him, then yeah, he's a bad person for that. And guess what? I don't go around supporting Vosh anymore. Why? Because I found out he was a bad person. So I don't support him anymore. I know, crazy. That doesn't mean that Charlie Kirk was a good person. No, he was a bad person for other reasons. He literally said that if his own daughter at the age of 9 got raped, that he would force her to carry the pregnancy to term. Also, thank you, Dr. Ghostface, for the $2 saying rip Charlie Kirk. Yes, rip bozo indeed. Rest in piss, Charlie Kirk. You won't be missed. Anyways. Let's see. You can't have children? Well, I don't intend on it, so is this meant to be an own? I don't want children. Well, he should put the baby up to adoption, or maybe he should allow his daughter to get an abortion if she gets fucking raped, because that's crazy to force your own kid to have a rape baby. Hey, thank you, Randy S, for the $10, you beautiful fucking bastard, saying, you think Trump supporters are getting more defensive and angry these days? Because they're getting increasingly embarrassed. They voted in a pedo, and they're scrambling to justify their decisions. I think that's definitely part of it. Look, I think that a lot of the people that are bringing up Charlie Kirk constantly are going to be very much so inclined to not want to think about the Epstein files, right? I want to hear more about the Epstein stuff because I'm very curious about it. And I'll hear people say as like a counter argument, oh, well, what about Bill Clinton? Do you think he belongs in the wood chipper as well? And my answer to that is, well, if he was associated with Epstein as much as Trump, yes, of course. Absolutely. Just saying, if he was as complicit as Trump, yeah. Yeah, do you think I'm a Bill Clinton defender just because he's a Democrat? Fucking idiot. Everyone wants Epstein files. Trump doesn't want the Epstein files. He's actively suppressing them. He's gone out of his way to hide them. Despite having every opportunity to do the opposite, to do the thing that, everyone's been wanting him to do. But no, he doesn't want you to know the truth because he doesn't respect you. Even if you voted for him, he doesn't want you to know the truth. He has no respect for you. He doesn't want you to know about the Epstein files because he thinks you're stupid and he thinks that you're not going to figure it out on your own. He thinks you're an idiot. He thinks you're a moron and that if he just covers it up, that you're not going to think about it. But obviously, you and I are smarter than that. You being the audience, me being me, we're smarter than that. Or at least we ought to be. I'd like to think that, at the very least, people are smart enough to understand that him hiding the Epstein files is not a good look, to say the very least, and that it's a very poor reflection of his character. Just saying. But I'm going to be charitable to you, yes, you, the audience, including the people that dislike me and assume you're intelligent enough to understand this. But don't you feel insulted knowing that Trump doesn't offer you that same level of respect? Don't you feel insulted knowing that he thinks you're stupid enough to fall for him sweeping the Epstein stuff under the rug? He thinks you're an idiot. The guy you voted for thinks you're fucking stupid just because you voted for him. But I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see more than that. I think that there's some people that are stupid. Don't get me wrong. But I'd like to think that people are smart enough to change their views as they're presented with new information, of course. And when the new information, of course, is Trump hiding the Epstein files, well, I'm just saying. Let's see here. Not as stupid as you, thinking you are a convincing woman. So notice how when someone is like angry that I'm calling out their number one guy, instead of responding to the arguments that I'm making in that moment because they can't and they're retarded, they obfuscate. They pivot to a different thing, which is, yeah, but like, you'll never be a real woman. Yeah, great. What does that have to do with Trump hiding the Epstein files? Like, how is that relevant? Like, I know, like, oh, but you're transgender and that's like a bad thing or whatever. Great. That doesn't negate the fact that your guy that you voted for doesn't respect you at all and is hiding the Epstein files. Also, thank you, Dr. Ghostface, for the additional 2, saying Charlie Obj lives. I don't know what the fuck that means, but thank you. But unfortunately, he doesn't live. Aside from like the AI slop that's made of him, of course, he lives there, I guess. Anyways. Let's see. Do you think he's in the files? Oh, I know he's in the files. Not just because he's hiding them for whatever wacky reason. Do you think he would be hiding the Epstein files if he wasn't in them? Yo, thank you, Mark Lore, for the $2. A beautiful fucking bastard saying agree. We think alike, my friend. Appreciate you. I appreciate you too. Look, the fact of the matter is, do you think that Trump, if he wasn't in the Epstein files, would be hiding the Epstein files? If he didn't have anything to hide, he wouldn't be hiding it. He obviously has something to hide. He was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Of fucking course he's in the files. He literally said that he has the same taste in quote-unquote younger women as Jeffrey Epstein. They were best friends. Did you see the birthday letter that he sent to his best friend Epstein? With the, the drawing of the barely pubescent girl? With like, barely any tit mass at all. If you're a guy and you're fucking horny, okay? Are you gonna, when you draw titties, you're gonna draw 2 big circles, okay? You're not going to draw two little lines under the chest, right? To make it look like, oh yeah, they've been through 2 months of female puberty, essentially. Just saying. Not a good look on Trump. It's almost like he was complicit. I know. Crazy. It's almost like Trump is a pedophile or something. What? You mean to tell me that pedophile elites hang out with other pedophile elites and do pedo shit together? What the heck? Oh, that's fucking crazy. What? No way. So Biden is in the files. Why didn't Biden release them? Was Biden in the files? Is there any evidence to suggest that Biden had any association with Epstein? You know, if it came out that Biden was as associated with Epstein as Trump, I would have no problem condemning him just as hard for that. But you want to know what's interesting? Biden's not in office anymore. So I don't really give as much of a shit about Biden. He's not in office. He's never going to be in office again. So I'm not as worried about him as I am about the guy that's currently in office. But nobody was, talking about Biden being associated with Epstein, because there is not really an association there as far as I'm aware. And if it turns out that there is, then fuck, I guess I was wrong about that. I was tricked by the media or some shit. But until I see some sort of evidence suggesting that Biden had ties with Epstein the way that Trump does, I'm not going to accuse him of anything. Now, granted, Biden is old as fuck. Yeah, he's a little bit creepy. I won't say he's like, what is he like? He's like known for like sniffing people. He like gives like very creepy old person vibes. You know, I won't deny that. But that's not nearly as bad as, being best friends with a pedophile and trying to cover it up. You know, I feel like those are different. We might see Hunter Biden 2028. Look, I'm sorry, but like Hunter Biden is kind of his own individual person. I don't see, like, let's say it's the case that his dad, Joe Biden, was actually a pedophile, okay? That doesn't mean that Hunter Biden wants to fuck kids. We see that he fucks women. We know this because we saw his massive schlong. You know? And let's just say that he gets a lot of bitches. You know, unlike Trump, he doesn't rely on having a bunch of money to get bitches. He doesn't rely on having power over them. You know, he consensually has sex with women that are into his massive 9-inch schlong. Okay, women live for that shit. Okay, women love Hunter Biden. Okay? Hunter Biden is a crackhead. Why would we want him to run for president? Well, I don't think he's a crackhead anymore. Also, thank you, 2BN, to 323 for the $5. You beautiful fucking bastards, saying Biden couldn't release the files because they were sealed until 2024. Interesting. I didn't even know that. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that was a bit of knowledge that I didn't even know about. Do you really believe this stuff? No, I'm actually lying through my teeth. I don't believe any of the positions that I espouse. I actually believe the complete opposite of everything I say. But you actually clocked me very accurately there. Can I goon to you? I mean, I can't stop you. But, generally it's not advised to tell everyone in chat. Anyways. Hunter isn't a crackhead. I thought he used to be a crackhead, but he's like not anymore. Am I wrong about, maybe he's still a crackhead. I don't know. I don't really care. They aren't classified law. Well, they're not currently, which is why Trump should release them. But he's choosing not to. He's choosing not to. Didn't Trump originally say that, like, oh, if I was in office, I would release the Epstein files? Didn't he originally say that, but because he's a liar, he's not doing it because he knows it would incriminate him? I don't know. He could be sober. That's very fair. I'm being cheeky. I thought he became sober. I don't know. He sounded very articulate in an interview that I saw with him. I'm pretty sure he's like reformed. Like, I don't think he's a drug addict. Yeah, okay. He's been clean for a while. I was gonna say, because I distinctly remember he did say he was clean, and he sounded like someone who would be clean. Like, he didn't sound like he was on anything, right? Yup, main part of his campaign platform. How does it feel knowing that Trump, okay, obviously if you're not a Trump supporter, this doesn't apply to you, right? You can just sit back and watch, me ask this question, because there's definitely Trump supporters that show up in, these YouTube Shorts live streams. For any Trump supporters that are watching this, how does it feel knowing that the guy you voted for lied to you about everything? All of the promises that he made were false. What was that he said? Oh, there's going to be no wars under me. The Ukraine war will end in a day. Uh-oh. I'll release the Epstein files. Yikes, bro. Yikes. Just saying. All politicians lie. Yeah, but he does it so flagrantly. Like, he's so blatant about it. Yeah, politicians generally do have a tendency to be dishonest, but he is egregiously bad. He is an egregiously bad example of this. Hell, I'm somebody that finds most politicians to be quite reprehensible. I didn't vote for Kamala Harris because I liked her. I voted for her because she sucks less than Trump by a lot. A lie is a lie. Yeah, but I think that the magnitude to which somebody lies is going to, in part, determine how much of a liar they are, right? Just saying. Trump is fumbling the bag. True. Absolutely. 100%. 100 million %. Chat. How many of you are familiar with the YouTube channel called Jubilee? Oh, man. It's been a while. Been a long time. All right? It has been a long time since I've reacted to Jubilee because they are very annoying when it comes to copyright. In order to not get copyrighted by Jubilee, you have to pause Andy the fuck out of it. And even then, you might get unlucky. So hopefully this stream doesn't temporarily get copyrighted like we've had happen in the past. Hopefully it doesn't have any issues. And yeah, today I want to talk about Michael Knowles because he did one of those one conservative versus 20 LGBTQ plus activists videos. Okay, he did one of those surrounded videos around 7 months ago. One conservative versus 25 LGBTQ plus activists featuring Michael Knowles surrounded. So we're gonna see what that's all about. All right, we're gonna watch this. All right, and we're gonna pause Andy it. And to all the people that get mad when I pause Andy the fuck out of my to all the viewers that get mad saying no, just play the video. I literally can't. All right, it's illegal. It's illegal for me to do so. So you're gonna have to bear with me. All right. With that being said, sit back, relax. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay.
In terms of reality, I'm gay married. Ooh, right? Like.
Oh no, is the argument about gay marriage? Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not a very popular position, Michael Knowles. Is this how you're gonna radicalize your audience? Wow. Holy fuckamole, goddamn! Yo! Holy shit, I did not expect this. Thank you so much, Sage Roosevelt, for the $50, you beautiful fucking bastard, saying, Shorty looked at my search history, and it was solar plexus clown gliders all the way down. I don't know what that even means, but thank you so much. Can we get some 07s in chat for Sage Roosevelt for the very generous $50 donation? Thank you so much. Holy fuckamole. Actual goat. Actual goat. Anyways, we have a segment to do.
What is the point of this conversation?
Because you're...
I ask that all the time.
You're not really married.
I'm sorry.
You're not really married. Your marriage is a figment of your imagination. Great stuff.
Right, I'm going to outright call you a fascist.
Oh.
Of course, this is the clip that they use within the first 10 seconds. Right? Now, something I've noticed that Jubilee does, regardless of whoever's on their side, regardless of what side the person that they have in the surrounded video is they'll try to paint that person in a more positive light, right? That's something I've noticed. And you'll notice the comments reflect that. So if you go on a surrounded Michael Knowles video on Jubilee, all the comments will be glazing the fuck out of him and shitting on the 25 other participants, right? But then if you go on one with Sam Cedar, it'll be people glazing the fuck out of Sam Cedar and shitting on all of the conservative participants, right? So a lot of it does have to do with the format and who is debating, right? It's also going to have to do with who watches these videos, right? So a lot of people might watch these because they want to see the guy that they like shitting on liberals or shitting on conservatives, right? And that's something that I've noticed. And I think they're playing into that. Because what this is playing into is that the notion that, oh, they call everyone they disagree with fascists, but they're not including the context. But they are preemptively sharing. Hey, by the way, this person is crazy. They're calling you a fascist, essentially.
No.
And say that
heaven.
what you're
Heaven
saying
forfend.
is hate speech.
I have XX chromosomes, Michael.
You have XX chromosomes.
Yeah, would you
Okay.
call me she, her now?
I don't.
Ooh, fucking based. Okay. All right. Guy with the beard is so fucking based. Dude, he doesn't know how to respond to this because it could be a trans man. He has no fucking idea. And he knows that he doesn't have any idea. Especially because, considering the fact that trans men have a tendency to pass really fucking well, especially nobody ever talks about this. No one ever talks about trans men in men's restrooms as an issue, right? They ignore the fact that if they were to impose bathroom bills, that trans men would be forced to go to the women's restrooms. Yeah, somebody that looks like this could very well end up in the women's restroom if Michael Knowles had his way.
Oh, it looks like I'll defer. I'll defer to you.
I'll defer. Because I can't decide. It's impossible to make the determination.
Hello, I'm Michael Knowles. I'm a conservative podcast.
God, dude, everything about him, dude, I just want to punch him. Dude, he has like the most disgusting, punchable face I have ever seen. I hate everything about this guy. Yeah, I just want to punch his teeth in. Dude, look at the fucking eye bags. Look at his little fucking eye bags, bro. You just know for a fact he does not sleep well at night. Doing the dumb shit that he does.
Guest host at the Daily Wire. I'm an author and I'm a cigar salesman of Mayflower Cigar.
And you're also gay. Michael no less. True. I think that's an insult that was coined by Hunter Avalon originally. But yeah, I think I might start calling him Hunter no less eventually. Or not eventually, but again.
Cigars. And today, I am surrounded by 20 LGBTQ plus activists.
Wow. Except the title says 25. How many are there actually? Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so wait, huh? Did I miscount? Is that okay? Maybe 22. Is that person's head or their hand? I can't tell if that's like an additional. Either way, fact of the matter is neither of them counted correctly. Fucking idiots.
My first claim is that there is no such thing as same-sex marriage.
Well, that's just demonstrably false. There is a such thing. It happens all the time. Gay people actually do get married. Marriage, being the legal institution of marriage, the thing that exists. There actually is a such thing as that. It's called people getting legally married, right? There are social and legal benefits to marriage that gay people are able to receive. I know, crazy. Yeah, being gay actually doesn't bar them from that. And if it did, well, that would be a bad thing. So it's good we live in the big 25 where that's not the case. So apparently to debate, you must enter the circle. Dude, I would love to enter the circle. Chat, do you think I could get on Jubilee? I don't know, man. Wow.
Wow.
Nice to
I would touch the chair so fast. I'd be like the first person. I'd be a fucking ninja.
meet you,
How are you,
Michael.
sir? Nice to see you.
I am doing well. So your claim, what's the underlying philosophy of your claim?
Yo, that's a good question. What is the underlying philosophy of your claim? And something tells me that Michael Knowles, or Michael No Less as I like to call him, is going to defer to some sort of Christian worldview. Now, this is interesting because these people have a tendency to be very bad at defending it and explaining why that should be legally enforced.
Well, I guess the underlying historical part of my claim is that
Well, huh? He didn't ask you for the historical part of your claim. He asked you for the philosophical part of your claim. You fucking moron.
everyone for all of history everywhere until, and I'm being generous, 2001,
Well, A, that's not true. Gay people have existed for ages. And B, it's also going to be the case that this is an appeal to tradition fallacy. So even if it was the case that there was no instances of gay marriage ever anywhere, and maybe that's true if you're talking about a very specific institution of marriage, where it was illegal for gay people to get married. Yeah? What's your point? It also used to be illegal for black people to use the same bathrooms as white people, or for them to use the same drinking fountains as white people. We wouldn't defer to a historical precedent as a reason for why something should be a certain way. So right off the bat, Michael Knowles makes two errors. He A, doesn't answer the question, which is, what philosophy are you using to determine this? He asks, what philosophy are you using? Well, my reason is historical. My historical reason for it, well, that's not the reason you were asked. And two, your historical reason is an appeal to tradition fallacy. 0 for 2, Michael. What's going on here?
Agreed with my view that there's no such thing as same-sex marriage.
So because people used to agree with you, that means that you're correct? So if a racist person is like, yeah, I think we need slavery back. Well, what's your reason? Well, historically, black people were slaves. And, everyone back then used to agree that they were, and that's the way it should be. So surely that's the way it should be today.
So it seems to me that marriage intrinsically requires...
Intrinsically, according to what standard?
Sexual difference. And furthermore...
No, that's not true at all. So because something historically was a certain way, that necessitates that intrinsically it must necessarily be that way? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, historically, black people weren't categorized as human. That doesn't mean that they're intrinsically not human. They are very much so human. Right? It would be ridiculous to claim otherwise.
Or I think that any claim that marriage could be redefined to include same-sex marriage...
What are you talking about? Could be redefined? It already has been, dummy. The meaning of words changes all the time. That's how the English language works.
...would render the term marriage incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible. What exactly about it would be incomprehensible? What would be more difficult to comprehend? It's like marriage, but instead of just including straight people, it also includes gay people. Wow! Holy shit! My mind is fucking blown. That's so incomprehensible. Holy shit!
Would you say that this is based off of natural law and how Thomas Aquinas defines natural law?
I would not even get into natural law. I'm gonna be real. It's a whole load of fucking horseshit, right? If Michael Knowles wants to bring up natural law, he can, but then he's required to defend it.
There's a good natural law argument for it, but I think it's...
Oh, really? Show us what the argument is.
...based on more than that.
It's more than...
Oh, it's based on more than that. Would you like to make the argument then, Michael?
But based on anthropology.
Well, then what do you
Based on anthropology, okay.
say that marriage is a set of legal rights, or is it a social role?
I think marriage is an institution. I think it's the fundamental...
Wow, it's an institution. Thank you. Holy shit.
...political institution.
It's a political institution.
I think, getting back to classical philosophy...
Of course.
...that...
But would you answer the question that he asked, which is, like, do you think of it as a legal thing, a social thing? Probably both. Yeah, it's gonna be both, isn't it? But obviously you don't want to address that because if it's a mere legal/social distinction, then he doesn't have a defense for, gay marriage existing. Or sorry, gay marriage not existing, as he likes to claim.
Man is fundamentally a social animal, so, I think at the bedrock of politics is the unit of the family and...
Based on what exactly? Why is that specifically the bedrock of politics? Why your specific unit of family? Why not, 2 gay dads and a son? Why can't that be a family unit? Is it not a family unit because you say so?
Of course, intrinsic to the family is marriage.
Intrinsic to the family is marriage. Why is that the case? Why is that a necessary condition for a family existing? That doesn't make any fucking sense. How do you define family?
Well, all of those, especially with natural law, is just an assertion without evidence to back that claim, in that we see marriage over time in various cultures has been different things.
That is true. It's almost like marriage isn't this universal thing that has been exactly the same historically over many different societies. The thing that Michael Knowles was claiming without evidence, the bullshit that he was spewing.
In which cultures would you say you see same-sex marriage?
I did not say same-sex marriage particularly, but the role of...
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that marriage is not universally the same. Like, I'm sorry, it's just like the most obvious shit imaginable. Anyways.
When it comes to family, when it comes to the conditions. Because would you also say that if somebody is lawfully married, especially in the eyes of the church, they cannot be divorced and then married again?
Dude, the fact of the matter is Michael Knowles is not the person to convince on the basis of, well, yeah, but the church also says this other dumb shit, because he's just going to agree with the dumb shit. Yeah, you have to keep in mind that unless you're, to be fair, in his defense, I don't think it's a bad strategy. Particularly because it is very bad optics to say, yeah, I'm against divorce. I don't think you should be allowed to divorce. Oh, what's that? Your abusive husband beats the fuck out of you every day? What's that? You come home and he fucking slaps the shit out of you for no reason? He fucking punches you in the face? Well, you shouldn't be allowed to get divorced because God says that that's bad. That shouldn't be legally permitted because that's not what marriage is. That's not how marriage was defined in the past. But you'll find that historically and traditionally, a lot of fucked up things were not only enabled, but enforced in the past. You know, things like, oh, I don't know, pedophilic relationships and marriages. Yeah, but we're just going to ignore that was historically the precedent.
I oppose divorce and remarriage, but I'm making a more modest claim than that.
Oh, you're making a more modest claim. Well, if you're making a more modest claim, surely you could explain why that wouldn't be necessary for believing the other shit that you do. Explain why your more modest claim can stand on its own without believing the other dumb shit. Why you wouldn't have to concede to the other dumb shit you believe.
I'm just saying that at its core, marriage necessarily involves two different sexes.
Why? Like you're making the claim, which is great and all, but you're being asked to substantiate it, whether it be philosophically or whatever it may be. Primarily philosophically, right?
How would you prove that? Because all of natural law,
even linguistically, even defend it linguistically if you want. You won't have a very good defense, but at least attempt something.
Just this assertion, I can just as easily say the opposite in that marriage is a set of legal rights.
You keep bringing up natural law. I'm actually speaking even more basically. I love natural law, but I'm speaking.
Yeah.
I don't know why he brought up natural law, by the way. I would not do that in the position of the person debating Michael Knowles. If Michael Knowles wants to bring up natural law, great, but then I will ask him to substantiate, okay, well, what is it specifically entailed by natural law, and why is natural law correct? Like, what's your evidence of this being the case? And then we get into a philosophical debate where I might be arguing against natural law, if that's where his argument stems from. I'm not too familiar with natural law, so I'd ask him to clarify. And I would go based on the logic and reasoning of what he's saying.
Even more basically than that, it seems to me that the only way that marriage could have a meaning is if it involves different sexes.
But once again,
yeah, but like why? Like you're asserting that, but like why is that the only meaning it can have? Why would it not have meaning if that's not the case? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
you're defining that meaning, but marriage essentially is a set of rights conferred from two spouses when it comes to inheritance, when it comes to the rights of the children, when it comes.
True, there's going to be legal and social reasons to get married. Right? It is a legal and to an extent social institution. People don't get married for religious reasons in many cases. People that are atheists get married. People get married all the fucking time for non-religious reasons. Right? People aren't doing it because, well, it's because of my religion. If that was the case, there wouldn't be atheists getting married. Do you believe that atheists who are married to each other that are opposite sex couples aren't really married? Or is it the case that you recognize that, yes, socially and legally they are married the same way that a gay couple would be?
Comes to a number of about 1,100 federal and state rights.
Okay, then what you're getting at is interesting and might help us move forward. How would you define marriage?
I would say marriage is a legal contract between individuals when it comes to a set of property laws, when it comes to.
I would say it's a legal and social contract. That would be my argument. It's going to be a contract that is legally and to an extent socially binding, right? So essentially, it's going to have to do with, and like I wouldn't get too much into the specifics, but it would primarily have to do with, like the way that your money is accounted for, that the taxes you pay, who owns what, etc. It's going to be shit like that.
Family law when it comes to children and many other rights that are conferred. And we do see that those rights have been conferred to members of the same sex. And so say that same-sex marriage does not exist.
Exactly. Like if we're talking about marriage as a legal and social institution, Michael Knowles has no argument.
Well, no, because we see it.
Well, you say that marriage entails rights pertaining to children. Well, two men cannot create a child. But
yeah, you're right. They can adopt. Did you know that infertile straight couples also can't conceive of children, but they can also adopt? I know, crazy. What's the distinction there?
Infertile couples, and neither can. There are a number of couples that cannot have children.
True.
So infertility sometimes occurs, and that's unfortunate.
And so does gay.
It is important. I agree.
marriage.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the distinction?
Well, no, gay marriage cannot occur. I guess
Gay marriage cannot occur. Why not? Why is it possible for a straight infertile couple to occur as a married couple? You know, they know that they'll never be able to conceive of children. But suddenly now the fact that they're not able to have kids if they're gay, now suddenly that's like really important, okay? It's really important that they're not able to have kids. Their inability to have children is what prevents them, in fact, from being married. But we don't apply that standard to straight people, of course.
But you're asserting that without proof. We see that it does happen in that
No,
the
it
word
doesn't.
that we mean marriage.
you
and
could
the legal rights.
You could say that there's such a thing as a square ball. You could say that, but it's,
Dude, he's just not engaging at all. Yeah, but like saying that gay people can get married is like saying there's like a square ball, which means it's a contradiction. Rather than engaging with any of your actual arguments, I'm gonna defer to this retarded analogy that is completely disanalogous.
square ball
It's like
doesn't
so
really.
pathetic. Like this is so transparent and pathetic.
Contradiction. Would you agree that people have been lawfully wedded in the eyes of the government, and those two parties are members of the same sex?
No, I'm saying that isn't possible. So law
But it literally is possible. It happens all the time. What do you mean it's not possible for people to be lawfully wed and married? It fucking happens. Constantly. What are you talking about? What do you mean it doesn't happen?
can assert all
But you're
sorts of crazy
asserting
things.
that without
well,
proof.
like the law could say that a black person isn't a human being, but that
Yeah, well, the difference is that would contradict reality. And that would also contradict what is beneficial for people and society. I know, crazy. Who would have guessed?
wouldn't be true. That wouldn't make it true.
But once again, when we get into this Aristotelian view of the world, that's an assertion. Would you agree?
You're bringing up Aristotle. I don't know. I'm not bringing up Aristotle.
Well, would you say
I like
that,
Aristotle.
that Aristotle, Thomas Aquinas, in the traditional view of the magisterium of the Catholic Church, are a view that you use to base your worldview off of?
I am.
I mean, interesting. Very interesting. So something tells me that this guy did a bunch of research into this ahead of time to see what Michael Knowles' worldview is specifically, right? He seems to know a lot more about Michael's worldview than I do. So I'll give him credit where credit's due. He did his fucking research, right? Obviously, that's something that I would do if I was going to show up on one of these. Obviously. I find it interesting that he is going directly after the worldview. Now, how I would do it is I would ask Michael Knowles to tell me what his worldview is and to justify it. Why? Because then he is forced to defend it, right? He's forced to defend his shitty worldview, right? And that's important.
Catholic, but marriage actually even predates the church. So I guess my view is
Yes.
your definition of marriage seems to get a little muddled. You say it's a legal.
So, okay, if you're saying that it predates the church, right? Marriage predates the church. What is your standard of marriage? What is your definition of marriage, Michael? You haven't defined it. You've just said, well, no, you can't get married if you're the same sex because you just can't, okay? That's his argument thus far. He hasn't made an actual argument. Like, the only thing that he said is, well, in the past, people didn't have gay marriage, so why are we allowed to have it in the present? Well, yeah, black people weren't allowed to use white people drinking fountains in the past. They can in the present. Well, yeah, what is your point? Yeah, things are different now. Did you know that things are different? That doesn't mean that they're worse now. That's not what that means.
a
Arrangement
legal
of family.
arrangement, yes.
But to say that marriage is a legal arrangement pertaining to family is circular. Of course,
Okay, so do you agree or disagree with that definition?
it's a legal arrangement pertaining
I'm
to family. I'm
saying
saying, what is it?
arrangement.
Okay, so wait, if you agree that it's a legal arrangement pertaining to family, why can that not be applicable to gay people? Make it make sense.
When you say it's an arrangement that pertains to children, you say, well, of course, okay, now we're getting closer because only a man and a woman can produce a child in principle. Now,
In principle, what the fuck do you mean in principle? What are you yapping about? In principle, my fucking ass. You fucking moron. But in principle. But again, this just goes back to the infertile example. If it's the case that, in principle, infertile people cannot reproduce, they cannot have children without adopting. The same with that gay people. Cannot, right? So by your standard, because in principle, infertile people cannot conceive of children, you would agree then that if you're infertile, you can't get married because in principle, you're infertile, you can't have children. Oh, no, it's different, but that's different, okay? That doesn't count.
of course, some couples are infertile, but just because, a human being, let's say, loses an arm doesn't mean that human beings only have one arm or
But you're
might
saying
have.
No, but it would mean that some human beings only have one arm, and they would still be human. Just because they don't conform to the norm of having two arms wouldn't make them less human. I know, crazy. The same way that, I don't know, not conforming to your view of marriage doesn't make it any less of a marriage. A marriage is, first and foremost, a legal contract. That's what it is. Why should that legal contract not apply to gay people? One of the issues with what Michael Knowles is doing here is he's trying to make a descriptive claim about what marriage is, when in reality, that's not even a part of the equation. A descriptive claim about what something currently is or is defined as in society is that, yeah, gay marriage is a form of marriage. I don't even know why this would be up for debate. This is one of the dumbest things that you could debate. Now, granted, I understand why he's doing that instead of debating a more prescriptive end of the argument, which is whether or not gay marriage ought to exist. And the reason he won't debate that is because there's not really any convincing argument for why it ought not exist, right? But that's what I'd be interested in debating Michael Knowles on, is whether or not it ought to exist. Ought this be something that exists? Well, obviously, yes. And we'll see, maybe that's what they get into.
It's a necessary component. And that necessary component doesn't come from anywhere.
No. Well, I'll give you my definition of marriage.
Absolutely.
Oh, interesting. You're finally going to give your definition of a marriage. I'm sure this is going to be irrefutable.
I think marriage is a lifelong union between a man and a woman. Or
yeah, but like why? Why can't it be a man and a man or a woman and a woman? It's like, yeah, you think that, but that's great, but why can't it be a lifelong union, period? Why can't it be a lifelong union between two consenting adults that want to be in the lifelong union together? Make it make sense. Why is that not allowed?
Ordered toward the procreation and education of children and is
ordered towards the procreation and education of children. Interesting. So you would agree then that infertile couples, on the basis of not being able to procreate, would, not be able to get married if that's a necessary prerequisite, right? So for the same reason that gay couples wouldn't be able to get married, infertile couples would also not be able to get married, right? Because they don't meet the standard of procreation. Or alternatively, that's not the only standard, in which case you brought up other things. What was it? The education of children? You can do that through adoption. So for the same way that straight couples can adopt children, gay couples can do that too, They can also adopt children and raise them and educate them. Yeah, that is not exclusive to straight couples. So make it make sense.
a secondary matter for the mutual support of the spouses.
Well, once again, when we say...
why does that have to be a secondary matter? What if you get married without the intent of having children? What if you never want kids? What if you actively go out of your way to avoid having children? Is that a fake marriage?
Ordered towards is to look at the world with these preconceived notions about things.
I'm not preconceiving anything. I'm just...
But you are. You're preconceiving that definition is the one that has to be the case without any reason to back it up. All you have been doing is begging the question over and over again thus far.
I'm just observing nature as it is.
You're observing nature. Marriage doesn't occur in nature, you fucking idiot. There's no institution of marriage that occurs in the fucking jungle. That's not a thing. You don't go to the jungle and see the institution of marriage occurring. That doesn't exist. It is a made-up fucking concept. We invented marriage. It is man-made.
No, I'm just observing nature, and I'm saying that that's what...
But nature doesn't have marriage. There's no such thing as marriage in nature. That's not a thing. It doesn't exist. There is no institution of marriage in the fucking jungle. You moron.
Marriage is.
But if we're observing nature, we see that there are same-sex couples. So if we go, we are observing
No,
things.
I'm not saying there can't be same-sex couples. I'm just saying there can't be same-sex marriage.
Yeah, but like why? You're appealing to nature, but you haven't established how in nature the institution of marriage exists, but it only exists for straight people. So not only do you have to establish that it only exists for straight people, but not gay people, but you also have to establish that the institution of marriage is something that occurs in nature. It's natural. It's not man-made. It exists independent of mankind. You know? Because cats and dogs get married to each other all the time and have weddings and shit. Yeah, that's so true.
Are there same-sex individuals that have entered into a legal contract that the state recognizes as a marriage?
Sometimes the state gets things wrong.
What is the state wrong about in this case? What are they wrong about? Oh, because they disagree with Michael Knowles?
As I am arguing, has happened in the case of same-sex marriage.
Is that a yes? That there are couples of the same sex that have been wedded in the eyes of the state?
Since 2015, the U.S. government pretends that two men can be married to each other.
Well, no, they don't pretend. They just allow for it to happen. It's not pretending if it happens. That's you fucking moron. You actual imbecile.
But you're basing off of that nothing. You're basing that off of nothing.
No, I'm basing it off
No, literally.
the Obergefell decision from the Supreme Court. They're pretending. They're acting as if
How is it pretending? Again, you have stated a definition. You're saying, well, anything that doesn't adhere to my definition is just pretend. It's not real. It doesn't exist. But you haven't established why that can't be the case. All you have done is deferred to a few things that can be easily refuted and have been easily refuted. So what distinguishes an infertile straight couple from a gay couple that allows the infertile straight couple to get married, but not the gay couple? You have nothing.
men can marry
According
each other.
to you?
No, according to the Supreme Court in the Obergefell decision.
We keep using pretend.
Wait, I thought you said that you wouldn't defer to what legality is. What, huh? So yeah, now you're deferring to like an old Supreme Court case that affirms your view. So now the law is important, but when the law is one that I disagree with, actually don't listen to the law. But I'm gonna cite it as evidence for my position when it does. Okay.
As if things exist outside of the institutions that we make.
I'm just saying the word has a meaning, and I gave you a very clear definition of what I think it means and what.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, my definition is like, similar to yours. It's like a little bit more broad because it includes gay people as well. I also don't believe that marriage needs to be centered around procreation. I think that's fucking weird. There's no reason for that. Why is that a necessary prerequisite?
But statistically, everyone for all of human history everywhere has thought it means. And you've given me this kind of.
Okay. Yeah, people used to think all sorts of wrong shit. For most of human history, we used to believe that the earth was flat. Until we, discovered that wasn't the case because we were wrong. The same way that we somewhat recently discovered it's actually wrong to prevent gay people from getting married because it only causes harm to them and society at large. Well, it's almost like society can be wrong about stuff in the past, and then we make corrections to become more correct as a society.
Jumbled description that keeps contradicting itself. And that's my whole point, is I think...
What's the contradiction? Where has he contradicted himself? What are you yapping about? The only difference in definitions is, A, mine wouldn't be centered around procreation, because that's weird. You could get married without procreating, obviously, without the intent to procreate, obviously. And it would include, not just straight couples, but also gay couples. I know, crazy.
It's not possible to define marriage. I have nothing against...
It's not possible to define marriage. Hold on, we gotta replay that. We gotta replay that. I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just say?
...itself. And that's my whole point, is I think it is not possible to define marriage.
It's not possible to define marriage? Then how are you meant to define gay people out of marriage? It's all vibes-based. You don't actually believe any of this shit. There's no way. It's not possible to define marriage. Michael, it's not possible to define marriage, no less. Wow. Incredible stuff. Saying the quiet part out loud. Actually, no, I can't define it. I can't give you a consistent definition. It's impossible. But just trust me, bro, when I say that gay people can't be included in a definition if there was one. Okay? Alright, dude. Very strong argument.
Nothing against two fellas.
According to who?
Prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong? Prove you wrong on what exactly? That there can't be a definition for it? But you gave a definition. You obviously think that there is a definition. You just can't defend it because it's retarded. Fucking moron. Also, thank you, Tyler Coleman, for the $2. You beautiful fucking bastard. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much.
You're wrong. Once again, are there couples in the U.S. that have entered into a covenant that society views as marriage?
Well, some people in society view it as marriage, but...
Okay. What do you think determines the definition of a word? Is it you, Michael Knowles? Do you determine the definition of a word?
Many do not.
But you aren't the ones conferring rights to society.
Right, but I don't think that the government dictates...
Also, you have to keep in mind that when we're talking about what marriage is, right? We're talking about what a word means. But not only that, we're also talking about what a word ought to mean. When we talk about the meaning of a word, we are, in many cases, going to talk about what is the most useful. And it seems to be the case that the definition that includes gay people in marriage is a lot more useful.
Reality. I think that if the government came out and passed a law and said that human beings are people with 3 heads and 17 arms and octopus tentacles.
Yeah, does that serve utility? The difference is, no, of course that doesn't serve utility. Yeah, you could say, oh, but like, what if there was like this one really silly law that doesn't make any sense? Great. Can you defend your actual position, which is that here's why I think that gay marriage shouldn't be legal? Because that's obviously what you believe. So that's not the same fucking thing.
And so we decree the U.S. government. That wouldn't make it true.
But who defines marriage?
True. Yeah, who defines it? Good question.
Been voted out by the majority.
Nice.
A pleasure to meet you.
I'm not gonna lie, if that was me, I would not be shaking Michael Knowles' hand. I would just sort of look a little bit disgusted and say, I don't know where that hand's been, but I'm not touching that shit. You look like the type of person that thinks it's gay to wash their asshole. So, yeah, no thanks. All right, who's it gonna be?
Close.
I feel like some people are at a disadvantage because like they're further away from the chair, depending on like, you know, where they're sitting.
Hey, good to meet you, Mindy.
Mindy, nice to meet you.
Yeah. Oh, my name's Mason, but
Mason.
Good to meet you. Yeah.
I'm Mason. Wait, I feel like, have I seen Mason before or am I crazy?
Michael.
Oh, gotcha. Wait, do you have a birth certificate?
Not on me, but I do have one.
Okay.
Yeah, but how do I know you're not one of the transgenders that's lying? How do I know you're not lying about being Michael? How do I know that this is your biological name inscribed on your supposed XY chromosomes? I don't even know what your chromosomes are. I haven't checked through the chromosome scanning device.
Well, I can't confirm that your name's Michael until I see that birth certificate just as a defender.
Wait, this guy is so fucking
of
based.
objective truth. But we can go more into the prompts speaking about marriage.
You could actually.
Dude, this guy is so based. I love this man.
If you have faculties of reason and you say, well, this is the sort of fellow
Faculties of reason, something that you don't have, Michael.
who presents himself, in a credible way, and you've probably checked with the producers here. They've probably verified that I am who I am.
Yeah, but how do I know you're not one of the transgenders, Michael? I don't know. You look like you could be transmasc. You don't look particularly masculine.
So a reasonable person would be able to know who I am.
That is more.
Oh, a reasonable person. Okay. But what about, like, I don't know, like a trans man who's far more masculine looking than you? Oh, but they should be in the women's restroom, I guess? Because reasons? All right.
Performative characteristics? Is that what you're implying? Is that I'm able, with my faculty of reason, to assume that I'm speaking with a man in front of me? And therefore, I can just politely go with the name that you're presenting to me, almost as an act of respect?
No, I just think that I wouldn't have gotten in this building if I weren't
What do you mean, no?
really who I say I am. So.
Okay.
What are you talking about? But according to you, a trans person isn't who they really say they are. So according to you, you think that trans people are banned from the building? Well, that's not true. You obviously don't believe that, right? Because there are trans people that have been on Jubilee. So you obviously don't believe that bullshit. It's fucking stupid.
Gotcha.
That would be my deduction.
We'll bring it back to the prompt.
Going back to specifically same-sex marriage.
Dude, he's like so fucking pathetic. So pathetic. Like he knows for a fact. Like he obviously knows that it's a reference to his view on trans people. But he's like trying to deflect. Oh, but if I was committing identity fraud, then they wouldn't let me in the building. Yeah. But like, how do I know that your real name is Michael and not Michelle? What if you were named Michelle at birth and you have XX chromosomes? I'm not going to call you Michael. That's not your biologically inscribed name on your chromosomes.
You said you argued from an anthropology? That's like your basis of...
Yeah, men and women are
this?
different, and marriage involves one of each. Yeah.
Why though? Like you just keep begging the question. You very confidently say what your position is, but you have no arguments to back it up. All you can do is say, well, like, because it's like between a man and a woman, and like that's how like people did it for a while. And then like saying like the same thing but slightly differently. And yeah, okay, dude. Really good arguments,
Which
Michael.
specific culture are you referring to? Because we have so many cultures that have communal
All of them. Wow. Every single one of them. Very interesting.
relationships in which people are raised. When you said in the act of procreation, have you ever heard of it takes a village to raise kids? That's not something that's just a saying.
No, I didn't say
that happens literally in specific cultures.
No, but
Yeah, that's true. It's almost as if the nuclear family isn't the end-all be-all, the way that Michael Knowles thinks it is, or claims it is. But now he's going to avoid this, isn't he?
when I say procreation, that's the act of creating the child. And
So infertile couples aren't really married then, because they can't create the child, right?
usually there aren't 3 or 4 people involved in that. It's usually...
Okay. Right. So how many societies have had marriage as we know it? Like, what proportion of societies throughout all of human history have specifically had the institution of marriage? Enlighten me.
Two people.
Yeah, but even those people that do create the child oftentimes were referred to as different genders depending on the culture that it is that you're observing.
It's true.
Which
So I
cultures
recognize from your
are you referring to?
We could talk about the Mayans. We could talk about certain Amazonian cultures.
Well,
I recognize that they're not Western cultures, so you might not
Well,
prioritize them.
what
but
was
that doesn't
their?
mean
Yeah, but they're not Western cultures. You can't talk about them, okay? It doesn't count, all right? It doesn't count. That's not really marriage.
that they don't exist.
What was their?
unfortunately.
Well, they no longer exist. The Mayans.
Oh,
but
right, because of colonialism. I'm glad that you're just.
But what was their view of gender? What specifically
Gender
are
is
you
something
referring
that's
to?
a specifically
Dude, this guy is awesome.
a social characteristic that we're all performing in right now.
Dude, I'm a number one, like, dude, I'm the number one Mason fan now.
I mean, you can't say.
No,
kinda
I'm
going back to our
not
original
asking. I'm not
interaction.
asking your opinion. I'm asking what you brought up the
It
Mayans.
wasn't
What did the
my opinion.
Mayans think?
That's just something.
What, huh? What do you mean I'm not asking for your opinion? What do you think the fucking point of the being surrounded by 25 people that disagree with you is? It's obviously to hear what their opinions are. You don't get to just do this like, oh, but I'm not asking for your opinion actually. I actually don't care what your opinion is. Even though Michael Knowles has literally asserted his opinion. The only difference is he asserts his opinion as facts, right? Rather than this person being like, oh yeah, like, I'm like pretty sure this is the case, or like, in my opinion, I think it's that this is why this is the case, or whatever it may be.
That is.
But what did the
observable
Mayans think? You brought it up. You seem so confident about this. What did the Mayans think about marriage and gender?
What do you? We can talk about difference in the way that they are recognized.
Can
depending
we?
on
I
what
don't
the
know that
culture
you
is.
know the
Yeah, we can.
difference. You said there was a difference, but you haven't explained how there was a difference. And I think this is what people.
Okay, so I will say that Michael has the upper hand here. Okay? So Mason does have to explain what the difference is now. And if he can't do that, then he loses. Right? Now, I wouldn't be able to fill in the gaps if he's not able to. I don't know anything about Mayan culture for the most part. I guess I know very little. Right? I don't know what marriage was like there. Okay? Or if they even had marriage. I don't fucking know.
Wait, is this prompt specifically on the Mayan anthropology?
Okay, I'm trying to drill.
Okay, to be fair, you did bring it up. Okay? So it is your obligation as the person that brought it up in the debate to explain how it's different, right? Because you're saying it's different. So Michael Knowles is correct in the debate sense, right? He is correct that, yeah, you are obligated to bring up how it is different. Because if it's not different, then it doesn't justify your point, right? It would actually justify Michael's point. So it is important that you're able to justify that there is a difference, right? So if there's a difference, then definitely bring it up. But if you can't think of one, don't bring it up, okay? This is a very common way that people will get trapped in a debate where like they might have like a vague knowledge or vague understanding of something, but they don't have like a full understanding of it. So what they might do is they might sort of avoid getting into specifics because they know that if they do, they're not going to be able to provide very much. Now, granted, Michael Knowles does the same shit. He can't get into specifics. Why? Because, well, he doesn't have a justification for any of his positions. He doesn't know that much, really. Now, granted, he's going to be media trained, a little bit better at, sort of hiding that. But we all know what he does. We can all pick up on it if we've, been observing him for a while.
Roll down. Just when you say there are different understandings of marriage throughout history and time and space, I say, okay, maybe that's possible. How? Tell me. Point to the examples. And you said, well, the Mayans. And I said, okay, well, what did the Mayans think about marriage? And you don't have an answer. And none of these people have answers.
In this one instance, Michael Knowles wins this part of the argument just because Mason wasn't able to provide an answer. I hate to give it to him, but I'm not going to be intellectually dishonest just because I fucking despise somebody. If somebody isn't able to present a good argument, then I will be honest about that fact. Now, I don't really know about anything about Mayan culture, so I'm gonna have to look it up. Hold on. What were marriages like in Mayan civilization? Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, this is according to AI Slop. Spiritually significant, arranged, involved a priest-officiated ceremony with ritual, blah, blah, blah. Parental arrangements, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Divorce was simple and acceptable if the marriage was not working out. Based? Based. Okay. Remarriage was simple. Okay, good shit. Was there gay marriage in Mesopotamia. Okay? Let's see here. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so this is a good starting point. While gay marriage as a modern concept didn't exist in Mesopotamia, there is evidence that some same-sex relationships were recognized and integrated into society. Some legal documents from ancient Sumer and Babylonia suggest that certain individuals could marry other people of the same sex, and prayers from the period recognized same-sex love as equal to heterosexual love. Ooh, interesting. The term salzakrum, daughter man, was used in Babylonian law for women who married other women, granting them specific legal rights like the ability to inherit property. Interesting. There are hints in legal documents that special provisions were made in an event that a woman's husband was homosexual. Very interesting. The Almanac of Incantations contained prayers for both heterosexual and same-sex couples, which suggests that same-sex love was not condemned and was viewed as equal to heterosexual love. Very interesting stuff. While male-to-male relationships were more documented, okay, so we got yaoi, heavily documented. There's less information available about female-female relationships, and this is just proof that we need more Yuri. Okay. All right. Look, I could get more into it. Let's see. History of same-sex marriage. Okay. We're going to do what Michael Knowles does. Sorry, we're going to do what he never does and actually research this. Okay. So we're going to... Oh, God. If it loads. It's not going to, is it? Well. Oh, nope. It finally did. Woo! Yippee! Okay. If it'll zoom in, which it doesn't really want to. Oh no. Okay. Alright, wait, no, never mind. This shit's like long as fuck. I'm not reading all this. Look, you can look into it on your own. Oh wow. The priest and priestesses of the popular goddess Inanna, better known as Istar, were bisexual and transgender. Very interesting stuff. Anyways. Contrary to popular assumptions, ancient Mesopotamian society also recognized and accepted same-sex relationships. Very interesting. All right. I need to pee. I'm going to be right back. All right. Don't leave. I would let the video play for a little bit, but A, that's what Hassan does, and Hassan bad, or whatever. And B, I don't want to get copyrighted, which is the more important issue, of course. So, with that being said, I'm going to go pee. I'm going to be right back. Don't leave. I'm not going anywhere. It'll be a minute. Don't leave me, chat. I'll be very sad if you do. I'll be back with the milk and cigarettes any minute now, okay? I just gotta take a big fat piss. All right. We're back, everyone. You better not have gone anywhere. Let's see. Did the viewer... Oh, yeah, the viewers did go down. Aw. Man, fuck you guys. Leaving me all by myself. Very messed up. Yeah, we lost like 20 concurrents. All right. Sorry, where were we? Oh, right. We were watching a Michael No Less video. I'm so excited. Yeah, the real ones are the ones that stay. All right?
Because everyone has... Do you have an answer?
People can look up right now. If you're right near a Google... Yeah, exactly. Right. Michael's trying...
Unironically, yes, Google will support you. But, yeah, I feel like... Okay, I think I jumped the gun a little bit. No, he's just, like, factually correct. Like, you can literally Google it. The issue is that conservatives that support Michael Knowles generally don't Google shit, or if they do, they're probably not going to be Michael Knowles supporters for long. Just saying. Or they have confirmation bias and just ignore Google. Either way, look, fact of the matter is, yeah, like, the fact that they allowed for you know, same-sex couples to be legally categorized and given it the same legal shit. They were legally recognized the same way that straight couples are, right? In their version of marriage, right? So yeah, there was gay marriage in Mesopotamia before we colonized the ever-living fuck out of them. That was a thing. So, like, you're just wrong about that. So when you ask how are they different, it's like, well, one of the main differences is that they had same-sex marriage. That was a thing. You can Google it. You can look up, was there same-sex marriage in Mesopotamia? And the answer is yes. Yeah, there was. They were legally recognized the same way that straight couples are.
To hone me down on trivia night right now.
No, I'm just
right
asking
now,
you to
we're
explain.
trying to talk about specifically are examples.
I'm asking you to explain the point that you brought up. And so what people usually do.
Yeah, but like you already said, like what do you want him to do to get more specific than that? It is a fact. It is a known fact. Maybe not known. It's relatively obscure, actually. Most people don't know about it. But you can Google it and find out, like he said, that in Mesopotamia, yeah, gay marriage was a thing.
Is they say, well, look, I'm sure that there were all different types of marriage throughout history all over the world. And what I'm telling you is, there actually hasn't been.
So you're telling
But there is. Google is your best friend, Michael.
me that a Catholic priest are the people who created like a certain ceremony within the Mayan culture? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you that
Okay, so what is your definition of marriage then?
If you want to listen, I'm happy to tell you.
Oh, right. You don't have one because you don't believe that there can be. Well, aside from the definition that you provided earlier, which was fucking dog shit, so you just sort of moved off of that because you realized how fucking stupid you sound. I don't know.
Exactly my
I'm
point.
listening. Ears
Okay.
are open, Michael.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mindy.
For all of history, everywhere in the world, until roughly 2001 in the Netherlands, every single culture, every polity has believed that marriage is the union of a man and a woman ordered toward.
But that's just not true. You're just like factually incorrect about that. You've been proven wrong. This is like, are you lying through your teeth or are you deluded or both? I can't tell. I assume that he's lying.
Toward the procreation of children.
And
that's what it has always been.
Well, towards the procreation of children, you really like to emphasize that. It's all about procreation. Okay, what about the case of an infertile straight couple? They know that they're infertile before they get married. That's not oriented around the procreation of children. They know that they can't create any children. But you would agree that's just as legitimate of a marriage as any other couple. Unless they're gay, of course.
You're saying that's the specific objective of what marriage is?
Yeah, that's what
for thousands of years, marriage has been used for property transfer. That's what marriage
is also. It's also used for the mutual support of the spouses, but it is in principle ordered toward the procreation of children. That's
okay. So in principle, it shouldn't allow infertile people to get married because they can't create children. But that's different. That's different, I guess, because reasons.
What distinguishes it from other kinds of relationships.
Would you say that there's an aspect where?
Oh, okay. So that would distinguish it, between a marriage and an infertile straight couple that pretends to be married, right? That would be the distinction, would it not?
Love is important, specifically within this current culture. Would you say that you love your wife?
I do, but now...
Okay, well, that
was not a very convincing I do from Michael Knowles. That's all I'm going to say. Look, we can replay it, but I'm not convinced.
Love is important, specifically within this current culture. Would you say that you love your wife?
I do, but now...
Okay, well, that always...
Dude, you can't make this shit up. Well, yeah, I definitely I love my wife. I love her so much. She's like my most favoritist, bestest person in the whole world. Anyways, yeah, so like, okay, dude. We all know how you feel. All right, we all saw the fucking gay porno film that you did, Michael. All right, it's not a secret. We all saw the gay porno with Michael Knowles in it. It wasn't a gay. Technically, it wasn't a gay porno, but it was very homoerotic. I think it had gay porn in it, including Michael Knowles.
This hasn't been the case, specifically when it comes to things like
There are
arranged
plenty of people
marriages
today
or-
who don't love their wife.
You know, it's crazy how all like the failed theater kids that couldn't make it just became conservative grifters. You know, Ben Shapiro, you know, failed at doing anything actually worthwhile, so he became a conservative grifter. Michael Knowles, same shit. It's because these people aren't actually good at anything. It's so pathetic.
Lives.
That's
But
absolutely true.
I suppose the difference here,
as I just mentioned, that love has not always been something that's recognized, and
Right.
even in some couples
we
right
love
now.
we
it's
love
not
people
there.
in relationships that are marital and in relationships that are not marital. We sometimes don't love our spouses. We sometimes don't love people who are not.
That's awesome. What does that have to do with marriage as an institution, you fucking moron?
I think the point of what this
So that-
conversation
so
is,
that-
Michael, is we're seeing different motivations in which people actually get married.
Dave Rubin too. Honestly, that doesn't surprise me.
But I'm not
And so
asking
it doesn't
about
have to be
motivation.
specifically for the procreation. It doesn't have to be specifically for property transfer. And
True. It doesn't have to involve any of those things. If you don't want it to, you might just want the tax benefits of marriage. You could literally get married exclusively for tax benefits. That would make it less of a marriage. Now, granted, it might not be the best reason to get married. Like, it might be like a bad idea because it's like, oh, well, you're more likely to get divorced if that's the only reason you're getting married and you don't actually love the other person. And you've just like sort of decided that like, oh yeah, like we're like kind of roommates. We may as well get married for tax benefits. It's probably a bad idea, but it wouldn't not be a marriage because of that.
in some instances, it can just be the union of people who care about each other.
Okay,
And
but-
that's the,
but
the
I-
fixation and the obsession
I care
of
about-
same-sex couples.
I care about
is
my-
just what's so weird, specifically when conservatives claim to be big, strong men. You know, cigar salesmen
True.
that are out there presenting this.
Michael Knowles is like the literal opposite of a big, strong man, mind you. I mean, we all know that that's true. I don't have to spell it out. He's quite a weak, frail, skinny, effeminate individual. All right, we all know that he's a gay bottom, much like Nick Fuentes.
Certain image. It's weird how you're focusing more on gay people than oftentimes gay people focus on gay people.
True, and I've been saying this for ages. Same thing with trans people, especially. Like, I'm sorry, but conservatives talk about us more than we talk about ourselves. The only reason we even talk about ourselves is to respond to the dumb shit the conservatives say, to prove them wrong.
I'm not focusing on anything. I'm not the one who changed the definition
You
of marriage.
came in here making the claim, hey, all of these marriages that I'm seeing are not legitimate.
No, I'm saying
specifically
they're
because
not
it hurts
marriage.
my feelings.
No.
But you are saying that they're not legitimate and that they're not real. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what are you yapping about? You are quite literally saying that. You're saying that your definition, for whatever reason, ought to supersede everyone else's.
Because that's just not what marriage is. Like, if you told me that there were such a thing.
He looks like a twink. He looks like an ugly twink. Like, yeah, he's like technically a twink, but like, you know, he's really fucking ugly. Like, he doesn't have any masculine characteristics. He's just like a really ugly ass motherfucker. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah, technically he's a twink, but like, that's more so in terms of like, there not being anything masculine about him. You know, his effeminate sort of body structure, etc. His effeminate mannerisms. There's nothing attractive about him. He's like a very ugly, dysgenic looking individual.
Thing as a square ball.
The ball that we're referring to is a yellow ball and a green ball. It doesn't mean that the ball is square.
Now I think
True.
we're confusing our analogies.
No, that's what you're doing, Michael. You're the one creating things that are disanalogous. Your debate opponent, Mason, here, created a far more analogous analogy.
The reason one can't have a square ball is not because one has an animus against square balls. It's because it's in the nature of spheres and squares that one cannot simultaneously be both.
Yeah, based on the definitions of those terms, yeah. But the definition of marriage is not necessarily yours. If we're talking about a legal and social categorization, it is not going to be subject to, I don't know, universal laws of mathematics that don't change. Unless we, I don't know, discover that some shit that we believed about math was wrong, right? But you're right that a sphere can't be a cube, right? And the reason is because they have very clear scientific definitions that unless the science behind it changes, those definitions aren't going to change. And therefore, yes, it would be a contradiction for something to be a sphere and the cube, right? Now, if we're talking about something that is legal and social, the only thing that needs to change is our social understanding of something, as well as the law. If that's what we're talking about, which it is, then it doesn't matter what people thought 100 years ago about gay marriage. It doesn't fucking matter. It's irrelevant. Because that's not what the relevant variable here is going to be social and legal, nothing else.
The fear isn't seeing a gay marriage and saying, oh, boo, oh my God, I got scared. The fear is, oh my God, my rights are being taken away, or the institution of marriage is degraded, specifically because we're expanding it to people who also love each other.
It's because even in principle, two fellas can't make a baby. That's
Yeah, neither can an infertile couple that's straight, in principle. In principle, all infertile people are incapable of making a baby. But you wouldn't say that if you're infertile, you can't get married, right? That would be like a very obvious, disgusting, eugenics-based bullshit idea. And people would rightfully call it out. But now suddenly, if it's gay people, it's fine. It's fine to say it about gay people.
the difference.
As we mentioned, there are people that are infertile that you wouldn't say their marriage is any less legitimate, specifically because they can't.
True. Oh my God, Mason spitting facts. I promise I didn't pre-watch it. You know, it's just, I guess our dialogue tree is, you know, aligning like the stars at this moment. It's beautiful to watch.
In principle, their marriage is inclined toward the procreation of children.
That's not.
But no, it literally isn't, because they know that they can't make children and they're getting married anyway without the intention of procreating. They know before they get married that they're infertile. They get married anyway. It is not aimed towards the procreation of children. You're lying.
True, because we just talked about there were certain instances where marriage is used as a property transfer. It's not for
True. Like if it's the case that they don't have the goal of procreating, which they wouldn't if they know that they're infertile, would that invalidate the marriage? Of course not. And Michael Knowles would agree that it doesn't. But he won't say it outright. Why? Well, because he has to obfuscate. Be like, no, but that's different because it's still oriented in a way that would be maybe more likely to procreate, even though technically it wouldn't in these cases. But also, it's different because I said so.
Procreation.
But again, it's
What
also
about King Henry VIII? Would you say that
used
any
for
of his marriages were illegitimate?
I would
having
because
kids.
I'm a Catholic, but that's a separate issue.
Gotcha.
God. He has like the most evil, disgusting, terrifying smile I've ever seen.
This is the issue. I love my buddy, right? I love my Aunt Gertrude. I love my cousins. But
Dude, that's pretty gay, dude. If you love them so much, why didn't you marry them?
I'm not married to them. I have lived with roommates. I wasn't married to them.
Kirk 2.0. Yeah, Kirk did have a gnarly smile. Michael Knowles looks evil, but his smile isn't like really disgusting the way that Charlie Kirk's is. Charlie Kirk's smile looks evil and disgusting. Like in its like own right. It looks disgusting. Where it's like 90% gums, 10% teeth.
Many people have slept with people who are not their spouses. That doesn't mean they're married to them. Marriage has to have a definition that is different from all.
But you said that you can't define it. You literally said that there's not a definition for it. Earlier in the video, did you slip up? Did you mean to say that other people can't come up with a definition? Because that's what you said earlier.
All of these other kinds of relationships. And the only one that anyone throughout all of history until roughly 2001 in the Netherlands has ever come up with is that...
Wait, so do you believe that the meaning of words can't change over time? Like, not only are you wrong about this, but it also relies entirely on the presupposition that the meaning of words doesn't change.
It's a union of a man and a woman inclined toward the procreation of children. And also, it so happens that children are raised in a much better way from a man and a woman.
This is a specific motivation that you continue to reiterate and parrot. That is just not true if you look at various examples. Good to meet you, Mandy.
Good to meet you.
Again, I don't understand how these people are able to, you know, handshake Michael Knowles and not feel disgusted. Like, I'd just be like, no, I'm not touching you. Fuck that. You're weird. You're weird and gross.
What's his name? I didn't catch it. That was easy.
wow.
You got it. How's it going?
Good. Nice to meet
go.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. So
Hello,
I am
Craig.
not in
Greg?
this-
Wait, no, it's Greg. I misread it as Craig. Basically the same thing.
politics world, to be honest, all I know about you is your name is Michael and you don't marry your cousins.
I
which
don't.
Is, which is great.
I don't. I avoid.
I don't know if I believe Michael on that. I'm gonna be totally honest. in terms of not knowing anything about his politics, I mean, surely you'd want to research that ahead of time. Look, and I will tell this to anybody that intends on going on a show like not just Jubilee, but any debate show. If you are going to debate somebody, you need to prepare ahead of time, especially if they do debate stuff for a living. Don't go on there not researching any of their positions or any of the talking points that they're going to use, right? And just hope for the best, right? Now, I'm hoping that regardless of that fact that this person is able to hold their own and do well, I don't know. I haven't seen this. We'll see.
Yeah. So I was taking some notes here on my handy dandy notebook.
Okay.
Okay.
You're making a lot of appeals to things, appeal to nature, appeal to the dictionary, appeal to the past.
Philosophy.
True. Wait, philosophy? No, you didn't make an appeal to philosophy. You actually avoided philosophy because that's one of the things that you can't defend. Well, what fucking philosophy are you talking about? I think philosophy to him just means what he thinks, but he wants to say, something that sounds a little bit more, I guess, grounded in something. He doesn't want to just sound like, oh, it's just like I intuitively feel icky about gay people. So instead he's like, no, it's based on my philosophy. It's not just like my dumb fuck worldview. No, it's my philosophy. I'm using philosophy.
Yeah.
Anthropology.
I feel like what you're ultimately appealing to is Michael's idea of marriage. And that's
True.
fine, right? But
I'm appealing to everyone else's idea of marriage for all of history.
Well, that's not true. Because if you were, then there wouldn't be so many people disagreeing with you. Like most people in America support gay marriage, my friend. So you're just wrong about that.
Well, so here's the thing. Haven't there, before, I don't get sidetracked here, but briefly to respond to that, weren't there other ideas in the past that were bad?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, there are plenty of ideas in the past that have been bad and discarded. There were very few ideas.
Yeah, so for instance, like the idea of I don't know, not giving gay people basic human rights. Not having equal rights. Yeah, that was a bad thing. It's good that we discarded that. We shouldn't go backwards in that regard. Oh, it was actually good when gay people had less rights. That was awesome, actually. We should go back to that.
That have existed everywhere for all of history and continue to exist today, albeit in a slightly different form, that are...
Yeah, so have things like rape and pedophilia. It's a good thing that we prevent it, though, in modern day society. It's a good thing we have laws to prevent it. It's a good thing that we don't allow for it socially or legally, because those things are bad. Yeah, it's true that for most of human history, that those things were essentially permitted, right? And even encouraged in many cases. But we don't see that anymore. Why? Well, because it's bad, regardless of what the historical precedent is.
Bad,
So,
right?
but why am I supposed to care that people have believed something for a long time?
Well, because often...
Dude, the fact that he doesn't even know anything about Michael Knowles or his positions, but he's already fucking cooking him. I'm actually kind of impressed. He's just going based on a sort of explain it to me like I'm 5 years old mentality of really, okay, so why though? Just ask why a bunch. And you'll find that Michael's worldview falls apart instantly. Just go in not knowing anything and ask Michael to justify his position and ask him obvious questions, and he will fall apart.
And things that have endured forever everywhere do so because they work or they have some tethering to reality.
But
Right. So for instance, pedophilia and rape being prevalent around all of society. That's because it's tethered to reality and it works. Except, no, you don't actually believe that because that's stupid. That would be a really dumb statement to make. No, surely you wouldn't make, oh wait, he just made that statement. But in a different context.
In this case,
in terms of reality, I'm glad you mentioned the word reality, because in terms of reality, I'm gay married. Ooh, right? we live in a
Dude, no, that's not true. You're a figment of my imagination. There's no such thing as gay marriage.
Society where if you look at polling data,
Dude, we do live in a society.
Society seems to be okay with gay marriage.
True. So, according to the Jubilee Fact Check, according to a Gallup poll, 69% of Americans, support same-sex marriage. So if we're basing it off of society's view on what something is defined as and how they use the term marriage, then yeah, Michael, it's not looking too good for your side of the argument. Because in part, what determines the meaning of words is ultimately going to boil down to the way in which they're used. And if people use them in a way that includes gay marriage, right? When people say marriage, they're not exclusively referring to straight couples, then doesn't that change the meaning of the word, even if it used to mean something else?
And so if you personally don't want to get gay married, you don't have to. But shouldn't we? I mean, I'm thinking, like, what is the point of this conversation?
Because you're not really married. You have a relationship with a man, but you're not really married.
I understand that you think that, and that's fine. But we should structure, because what's the point of this conversation, right? Like,
no, literally. Like, it's not just like entirely a semantic debate. Michael Knowles obviously opposes gay marriage, right? Meaning that he opposes the legal institution of gay marriage. He doesn't want gay people to have the same rights as straight people. It's a fact. He obviously doesn't believe that we deserve the same rights. He makes it very apparent. But he won't say it word for word. I don't believe that gay people deserve the same rights. He'll sort of walk around. He'll dance around it. You know? He'll do this thing where he does like the fucking potty dance. Okay? He'll avoid it at all costs. He's very very jittery. You know, he does a little fucking potty dance anytime he's questioned about it and the things that he believes, because he needs to avoid saying that because it sounds horrible. But we all know that that's what he actually thinks.
I was kind of falling asleep through all like the Plato and Socrates and Italy.
I didn't bring it up. That was the other guy. That wasn't me.
I know.
I thought you said that you were basing your arguments off of philosophy. What happened? Oh, actually, no, it was the other guy. Now that it's inconvenient for that to be, okay?
We'll agree on that, okay? There's the agreement for the thumbnail, all right? But like, the point of this conversation
I can make it
should
very
be
practical for you.
that we're deciding
Wow, really? You can make it really practical. I'd like to see that, Michael.
how we should conduct ourselves,
Yes,
right?
I can make it very practical for you.
Okay, do it.
Children do very poorly when they are raised by two men or by two women.
Really? What's your evidence of this? Do you have like a scientific article to substantiate that? Because it seems to be the case that the opposite is true. Let's see here. How well do children do when raised by gay couples on average? Let's see here. Okay, so the first thing we're seeing from the AI slop, of course, is that they fare just as well as those raised by heterosexual couples. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see. So it seems to be the case that among parents, same-sex couples adopt and foster and have stepchildren at significantly higher rates than different sex couples. Seems like gay people are contributing a lot to society there, because people need that. Interesting. Ooh, here's something that might disagree with me. All right, let's see. This is in 2015. I don't know if this is a reliable source or not. How do you check if it's peer-reviewed on this? Is it peer-reviewed? No, it doesn't appear to be peer-reviewed. So, let's see. Let's see here. So, we got... What is the conclusion? 2 major studies are often cited by gay activists and extensively in the media. These studies claim that there's no psychological damage that occurs. Okay, so we're gonna go through these studies. All right. We're gonna go through the ones that are a lot more likely to be peer-reviewed. You on publisher site? Can I do that? How do I see if it's... How do I know... Okay, so... No, I don't want to go... Okay, no, I'm not paying money to view that. It's very annoying. Please don't make me do that. View on publisher site. Okay. All right. Oh, wait, is that the same one? Wait, which one did I open? I actually don't remember. Okay, well, I don't... Wait, fuck. Fuck, wait, which one was it? No, it was... Okay. It was... Okay, this one. So let's read the one that disagrees with me. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go out of our way to read the article that disagrees with me, okay? A very large body of social science research going back decades has documented the vital and unique role of mothers and fathers in childhood development. These studies have also demonstrated the negative psychological, educational, and social effects on children who have been deprived of growing up in a home with both biological parents who are married to each other. A very brief summary of findings on the mother's unique and crucial role in childhood development would include these points. 1. Infants and toddlers prefer their mothers to their fathers when they seek solace or relief from hunger, fear, sickness, or some other distress. Yeah, but those are things that could be provided by a father as well, right? Like, it's generally going to be the case that, like, yeah, they're going to prefer their mothers, but that's because mothers are going to be a certain way on average, right? But if there's a man in a relationship that fulfills that same role, then why wouldn't infants and toddlers have that same disposition? Oh, okay, let's see here. 2, mothers tend to be more soothing. Okay, yeah, tends to be. Again, why can't the gay bottom in the relationship be just as soothing? Let's see here. 3, mothers are more responsive to the distinctive cries of infants. They are better able than fathers, for example, to distinguish between their baby's cry of hunger and cry of pain. Is that true? Is there evidence of this? Is there reason to believe that? Where are we getting this from? Now, let's say that that's true. Again, that's going to be on average. And is it something that happens after pregnancy? Like you're more responsive to certain things after you're pregnant? In which case, are you against adoption? I would hope not, right? Because this seems to be something that, if anything, it would be a distinction between adopted versus non-adopted children and their outcomes. And we might already be conflating different variables here. They are also better than 4. They are also better than fathers at detecting their children's emotions by looking at their faces, postures, and gestures. Right, of course. Of course. Because men are autistic, they can't read emotions. It's true. It's true. It has nothing to do with the way that they're conditioned societally. But apparently men are biologically incapable of being motherly. Like, all you're describing is somebody fulfilling a motherly role. There's no biological characteristic. There's no motherly gene that exists in your fucking XX chromosomes. So maybe this is what Michael Knowles would cite. 5, children who were deprived of maternal care during extended periods in their early lives, quote, lacked feeling, had superficial relationships, and exhibited hostile or antisocial tendencies as they developed into adulthood. Deprived of maternal care in their early lives. You mean like their mother wasn't there for them? Yeah. Having a parent that's not there for you, or living in a single parent household, is going to lead to worse outcomes on average, regardless of gender. You fucking moron. Clinical experience would suggest that motherlessness, while not studied as extensively as fatherlessness, causes even greater damage to a child, because the role of the mother so crucial. Because the role of the mother is so crucial in establishing a child's ability to trust and feel safe in relationships. No, again, you're conflating different variables here. If we're talking about motherlessness and fatherlessness, on average, it's going to suggest that it's a single parent household. That's what's being studied here. What happens when there's only a parent in a household? What happens on average? If we're talking about the role of a mother in a relationship, why can't a guy fulfill that same role? That doesn't make any fucking sense. You're talking about a gender role. There's nothing biological about gender roles. Fathers also bring an array of distinctive talents to the parenting enterprise. 1, fathers excel when it comes to providing discipline and play and challenging their children to embrace life's challenges. Yeah, mothers are incapable of doing this, of course. They're not able to discipline children. It's biologically incapable. All right, they're biologically incapable of doing discipline, all right? Their XX chromosomes prevent them. But luckily, thanks to their XY chromosomes, fathers are very good at disciplining their children and beating them into submission, as they should. You know, that's their biological role in the household. Fathers provide essential role models for boys. Well, why only for boys? Well, glad to see this is a very unbiased source of information here. Very, very scientific. Definitely not somebody's opinion. 3, A father's presence in the home protects a child from fear and strengthens a child's ability to feel safe. Right. Wait. What was the thing you said before? Something about how mothers make you feel safe. But now this is like also a fatherly thing. Huh, interesting how even in your biased source of information, there's a little bit of overlap accidentally when there's obviously not meant to be. The extensive research on the psychological, academic, and social problems in youth raised. Sorry. Oh my god. Oh, what the fuck was that? The extensive research on the serious psychological, academic, and social problems youth raised in fatherless families demonstrates the importance of the presence of the father in a home for healthy childhood development. So again, this is just like, what? Okay, if there's like a missing parent. A 2013 Canadian study, which analyzed data from a very large population-based sample, revealed that the children of gay and lesbian couples are only 65% as likely to have graduated from high school as the children of married opposite-sex couples. Well, yeah, but does that have to do with them being gay? Or does it have to do with adoption? So let's take a look at this study, okay? Let's go. It's going to be another one that I disagree with probably, okay? What is this? Growing up with gay parents. Oh, it cites itself. Okay. No, this is the same study. Okay. It linked it to itself. All right. That's a little bit misleading. Linking yourself in your own study. Not even like a different study you've done. Like your study that you're currently doing is linked in your study. Okay then. I'm so excited to see the methodology. The girls are more apt to struggle academically than boys. Daughters of lesbian, quote-unquote, parents displayed dramatically lower graduation rates. Okay, dude. 3 key findings stood out in the study. Children of married, opposite-sex parents have a high graduation rate compared to others. Children of lesbian families have a very low graduation rate compared to others. And children in the other 4 types of living arrangements, common law marriage, gay couple, single mother, and single father, are similar to each other and fall between the extremes of married, heterosexual parents and lesbian couples. Okay, so what's the study here? A study of 174 primary school children. Hold on, I want to see, where in the study does it specifically refer to this? I want to get to where does it have like the numbers? Because it like cites itself for some reason. Where does it? For example, in 2005, the American Psychological Association. Oh wow, like an actual reliable source of information. Who would have guessed? For example, in 2005, the actually reputable source issued an official brief on gay and lesbian parenting, which includes this assertion: not a single study has found that children of lesbian and gay parents to be disadvantaged in any significant respect relative to children of heterosexual parents. Wow, interesting how the reputable source disagrees. Hey, by the way, did you know that like the reputable source disagrees with us? Okay. Let's see here. I wanna see where do they get the numbers? Where do they get the numbers from? Where's their study? Oh. Hold on, wait. Is it this one? Is this the one that they referenced? Among same-sex households. Okay, this is the... I'm not logging in. Fuck that. I'm not buying this. Okay. I don't know what this is. This... Dude, I'm not buying this shit. Dude, you think I'm gonna fucking buy this garbage? No. Not buying this shit. Not paying money for that. Let's see here. Okay, something I want to search is... Hold on. Same sex versus opposite sex adoption outcomes. Because this is obviously going to control for the variable that they're adopted. Okay. Is this the same one that we already got? Systematic review, meta-analysis. Okay. This looks like it might be a little bit better. Okay. Family outcome disparities between sexual minority and heterosexual families. A systematic review and meta-analysis. Ooh, interesting. Now this is the good shit. Background. The number of children in sexual minority parent families has increased. This systematic review aims to synthesize the evidence of disparities in family outcomes between sexual minority and heterosexual families to identify specific social risk factors of poor family outcomes. All right. And I'm really hoping that they don't conflate non-adoptive and adoptive families. All right. As all being a part of like this big block of same-sex families. Right. Because obviously in order to control, you would want to compare adoptive same-sex couples to adoptive to adoptive opposite sex couples, right? Okay. We systematically searched PubMed, the Web of Science, Embase, the Cochrane Library, and APA PsycNet for original studies that compared family outcomes between sexual minority and heterosexual families. 2 reviewers independently selected studies and assessed the risk of bias. Included studies. Narrative synthesis and meta-analysis were conducted to synthesize evidence. Results. 34 articles were included. The narrative synthesis results revealed several significant findings for children's gender role, behavior, and the gender identity / sexual orientation outcomes. Okay, this isn't really what I'm looking for, but all right. Overall, 16 of the 34 studies were included in the meta-analysis. The quantitative synthesis results suggested that sexual minorities families may perform better in children's psychological adjustment and parent-child relationships than heterosexual families. And then here's the standardized mean difference, blah, blah, blah. Here's all like the numbers. Yeah, notice how this one has like actual numbers attached to it that you can look at, whereas like the other one doesn't. Very interesting. It's almost like this is a way more reputable source. Right? It's not just one study. It's like a whole ass meta-analysis that actually goes through the numbers and is objective. Parental mental health, parenting stress, or family functioning. Conclusion. Most of the family outcomes are similar between sexual minority and heterosexual families, and sexual minority families have even better outcomes in some domains. Wait, that's actually hilarious. Relevant social risk factors of poor family outcomes include stigma and discrimination, poor social support, and marital status, etc. The next step is to integrate multiple aspects of support and multi-level interventions to reduce the adverse effects on family outcomes with a long-term goal of influencing policy and lawmaking for better services to individuals, families, communities, and schools. And that's how you tell the difference between a good and a bad study, right? Is a good study will actually give you the fucking numbers. It'll cite the numbers. It'll give you the fucking confidence interval, okay? 95% confidence interval. 95% confidence interval. Another 95% confidence interval. Another 95%, right? Notice how this is a meta-analysis of existing studies, right? It's not just a study, right? And that, my friend, is how you do research. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. I know that was like a bit of a side tangent, but I wanted to go through that for a reason, right? And for anyone that is curious, let's see. I think that the meta-analysis is worth linking in chat, of course. How could I not? You'll notice. Because I don't want you to just see that there's like a study that says something, okay? I want you to observe the study. Observe what it says, how it's saying it. Not how it's saying it, but like what it's saying. Whether or not it seems like there's like a bias. Is it a meta-analysis, peer-reviewed? Look at all that shit. right? Is it from a reputable source? What does it say about other reputable sources that, you know, either do or don't contradict it, right? Right? Either way. Let's see here. All right, there's so many of these. All right, I have so many fucking tabs open. We're going to close all of those. You can't choose your DMNA, you dumb motherfucker. Well, it's a good thing that I never said that I can. It's almost like you're arguing against the voices inside your head. Anyways, we have a video to watch.
My understanding of the literature on this is that that's not true.
What literature are you referring to?
Unfortunately,
A meta-analysis that we just read and linked in chat.
I was not able to bring notes here. If you look it up after,
I don't have notes either, but I'll tell you.
You can reach out to me after. I can email it
but
to you.
I can.
We're getting off of my point here, and I don't like it.
I
So I'm going to keep talking.
Okay, look, you gotta... Okay, so this is something that I criticized him for at the start of the debate, right? And he actually did pretty okay to start out with. However, this is what I mean when I say you gotta come in prepared. Okay, you need to be more prepared than Michael Knowles is. And the reason for that is because Michael Knowles is very good at being dishonest and Weasley. You're probably not going to be particularly good at that, nor do you need to do it, but you do need to know what you're talking about extensively. If you're going to use something as an argument, you have to be able to back it up. If you're going to say that this is what the science says, you have to be able to point to what the science says. You have to be able to give specific examples of, I don't know, like a meta-analysis, like what I did, right? So I made his argument for him, but that took me a while, right? That took me a while. It's not very, practical to do that in the middle of the debate. So obviously I wouldn't expect him to do that now, but you want to do that ahead of time if you can.
No.
I think it's
so.
You want it to be practical, and you want to avoid.
I'm also not sure how much you know about like what the prompts are going to be, right? So like, for instance, if I were to debate Michael Knowles and not know anything about him other than like, if I were to debate Michael Knowles and let's say I don't know anything about like what specific prompts I would be debating him on. I just know that it's like, okay, it's like him versus 25 queer people. Okay, he's probably talking about, trans rights. He's definitely going to bring up trans people. Maybe he talks about gay marriage. Actually, I wouldn't have guessed that. That would have thrown me for a little bit of a loop, though, to be fair, his arguments are so bad it wouldn't matter in the first place. What else? He's probably going to talk about, like, I don't know, like, Can't Get Pride or some shit. What else do they bring up? All of, like, their generic talking points. You have to, like, have them memorized to a T, right? And you have to be able to cite specific evidence, specific numbers, if you want to do this, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's something that I do when I debate because I'm lazy. Obviously, I don't do that because I run my own show. I can just read a study in the middle of the debate. I don't care. But if I go on someone else's show, more often than not, I try to be prepared. Though, to be fair, I haven't done that in most cases. I haven't done that. I'm not going to lie. But that's because I care more about my show.
We're going to talk over each other. No one's going to understand anything. You've talked so much more than me. You're the hero. Let me talk. Come on, Michael. Let me talk. So,
if you want to avoid the point I'm making, which probably...
But you don't have a point. Like, you're not able to cite anything.
...is good for your side of the argument.
Okay, if it's good for me,
No, avoiding points is what you do constantly, Michael. It's, if anything, good for your side of the argument. Because it allows you to be dishonest.
I'm gonna do it. So, the point of this conversation is we're deciding ultimately, like, what should our laws be, right? If we live in a plutocratic society where a lot of people have a lot of...
Plutocratic? Huh? Okay then. I didn't know we lived in a plutocratic society. This is news to me. I can tell that this guy is nervous, so I'm not going to make fun of him too hard for it. I get it. People are going to be nervous, but...
Plutocratic. You mean pluralistic?
Oh, pluralistic. Thank you. See, I'm not a media guy. I'm just a guy.
Yeah. No. Unironically, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the point of this, right? It's just like, oh yeah, have like a media trained person versus like a bunch of people that have never debated in their life, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of the goal of this, really.
Why am I here? He's a professional. Pluralistic. Thank you, Michael. So we live in a pluralistic society.
That is the most ignorant statement ever. So you realize that other mammalians live to mate, right? Yeah, the lions have gay sex. You know that, right? Like, this is like the example that like everyone on my side brings up. So like, hopefully you'd be able to address that, right? Or are you just like not aware of that? Or you just like pretend like that doesn't exist? Also, it's going to be the case that sex isn't just for procreation. If that was the case, then why the fuck would that be particularly appealing? Like, no, I'm sorry. If you're thinking about your future kids in the bedroom, you're fucking weird. Look, I don't kink shame, but in that case, I definitely do kink shame, okay? Anyways.
Yeah. And we should have our laws allow people to...
Sex is for procreation. Sometimes it doesn't have to be. There have been plenty of instances where I've had sex that was not for procreation. Because I am not fertile. I'm on estrogen. I'm literally not fertile. I could not get somebody pregnant if I tried. Even if I went off estrogen, I don't know if I'd still be... Like, if I went off estrogen, maybe I'd be able to get somebody pregnant. I probably would. But on estrogen, no, I can't get anybody pregnant. I don't have sex for procreation. I have it because it's fun and it feels good. I know. Crazy.
Live the way they want insofar as we're not impeding on other people's liberties or harming others, right? To my understanding,
so what about the right of a kid to have his natural mother and father? Because when the rubber meets the road...
What are you yapping about? Plenty of kids don't, regardless. Like, yeah, that'd be nice, but there are many instances in which that's not ideal. There are many instances in which their natural mother and father are abusive crackheads or whatever the fuck. Or they're not able to financially support having children. Or for whatever reason, they can't raise children. Whatever that reason may be, all of the reasons that they would put their kids up for adoption. And if that's the case, then, well, they're not going to have that regardless. So why does it matter if the people adopting them are gay or straight? It doesn't fucking matter. It makes no difference. And we've read a study that demonstrates that it makes no difference. Not just a study, a meta-analysis of many studies, right? It seems to be the case that all of the studies that are actually reputable are saying the same thing.
In gay marriage,
right.
It's not just two people living together. You could always do that. It's not two people doing those things you guys do, that you could always do that. It's the ability to adopt children, and in some cases, acquire children by going to the baby store and purchasing the eggs of one woman, renting...
The baby store? You call it the fucking baby... You mean like having like a surrogate mother or father? If you want to argue against surrogacy, fine, go for it. But that's like a whole separate debate. Well, why are you against gay people adopting children? We looked at the actual statistics on the matter. We looked at the numbers and the outcomes in terms of sexual minorities that adopt and straight people are the same. If anything, it's preferable to be adopted by a gay couple. The outcomes are actually better on average, weirdly enough. I know, that's crazy, but that's what the science says.
The womb of another woman and raising children, depriving them intentionally of their natural mothers, and that's very wrong.
So adoption is wrong. Adoption is very wrong, right? They should be stuck in the foster care system forever, actually, indefinitely. Yes, it's true that, gay couples statistically are more likely to adopt disabled and hard to place children, but adoption is bad. You're depriving them of their biological mothers and fathers.
It does infringe on the rights of kids.
I understand that you...
The rights of kids to what exactly? Be stuck in the foster care system? How does that infringe on their rights? Nobody wants to be stuck in the foster care system. People would rather have two gay parents than no parents at all, you fucking moron. You stupid.
Believe that?
And all the scientific literature, by the way, backs that up.
That's not...
No, that's just like wrong. We went over the meta-analysis on stream. That says the literal opposite of what you're saying, Michael. You're just like lying.
Not true.
It is true.
Fact check.
Really? Then why is it the case that the meta-analysis that we read said the opposite?
Check that, please.
It is true.
Let's see. Oh, interesting. Oh, shit. So he couldn't pull up a study on the spot, but what he did was very smart because Jubilee does have a fact checker. So, fact check. According to the National Institutes of Health, numerous studies have found that children raised by same-sex parents fare just as well as kids raised by different-sex parents. Oh no, Michael, this doesn't look good. Yo, that was a W saying, hey, by the way, Jubilee, fact check. W strat. If you don't come in prepared, that is like the number one thing to do. Just ask for fact checks over and over again.
Let's let them fact check that on the video.
I'm happy to fact check it for you right now.
No.
If the fact check disagrees with you, Michael, you look really bad.
study that you're referring to is
The only way you wouldn't look bad is if somebody's not reading the fact checks or if they're listening to it as a podcast.
Michael Rosenfeld study out of Stanford in 2010, and it said that kids raised in gay...
Yeah, but like, what about this one study? What about this one non-peer-reviewed study as opposed to like the numerous meta-analyses that disagree?
Households did just as well in school as the other kids.
It's not a study.
And that, no, it was a major study.
No,
but it was wrong. It had a major methodological...
Oh, okay, so that's great that there was one study. Okay, wow, awesome. What is your point? It's great. You can point to one study. Douglas Allen re-examined Michael Rosenfeld's study using alternative methods and found that when compared to traditional married households, children raised by same-sex couples are 35% less likely to make normal progress in school. So this was the study that we read beforehand to see what Michael Knowles would cite. This is what he cited. I would have prepared ahead of time if I was this person, right? Because it's easy to go through the study and be like, well, what's the methodology of that study? Can you defend this study? No, you can't. Okay, so you're pointing to a very biased study from one person who basically just said their opinion. They didn't say where they got the numbers from, right?
Error, and it's been corrected by multiple other studies.
I would love to engage with you on that.
Right, that's awesome, but like, you're pointing to one study, one counter study to one other study, and ignoring the countless meta-analyses that disagree with you.
Would you?
Yes, in a sec.
I think you would not like to engage on that.
My point is, the majority of people in society are okay with these things. And society's laws should reflect what the majority of people are okay with.
No, okay, this is a bad argument. And the reason is because that's just an ad populum fallacy, which granted is the same thing that Michael Knowles has done. Now, Michael Knowles is going to suddenly disagree with the usage of an ad populum fallacy now that it's inconvenient, but this is why I don't use ad populum fallacies regardless, is because they don't lead to conclusions that are truthful or not truthful necessarily. It just gives you sort of a shot in the dark, and he just so happened to be correct. That like, ad populum fallacy does lead to the correct conclusion, but through the wrong reasons. Still the wrong reasons to believe it.
If people were okay with slavery for much of the 19th century.
Read that shit? I did. I literally read the study that Michael cited for his side of the argument on stream. It was really bad and pathetic. It was probably one of the saddest attempts at scientific literature I have ever seen. Right? Nowhere does it show where any of the numbers are coming from.
So should society's laws just reflect that?
Wait, so now things that happened in the past are bad?
Some things that happen in the past are bad, and some things are good.
Mm-hmm. And how do you determine which ones are good and bad?
Okay.
But some things are good.
But the thing is,
and some things that are happening now are very bad too, and are contrary.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so they're bad. So gay marriage is bad, right? Can you establish why it's bad?
The problem is that slavery is bad. Gay marriage, gay adoption, things like that are not bad.
They are bad.
No.
And gay
but you can't substantiate that. You have like what? One shitty article that agrees with you, and then all of the other scientific literature disagrees with you. You know, the stuff that's like, included in meta-analyses of scientific literature, which finds what happens across many different studies, which is far more scientifically rigorous than any of the shit that you're citing.
Marriage is non-existent and gay adoption is bad.
Then how am I gay married if it doesn't exist?
You're not.
Dude, you're a figment of his imagination.
I'm having an existential crisis after this.
Dude, I don't know. Dude, he's a figment of our imagination, actually.
You're not. People have all...
See me? Can you guys see me?
Dude, why is this the hill that Michael wants to die on? Like, he looks retarded. Does his audience actually eat this shit up? Are they this stupid?
You exist, but gay marriage does not exist.
Okay.
And gay adoption is very bad for the kids. I'm not.
Yeah, but like, we saw the study that. Sorry, not just the study. We saw a whole. We read through an entire meta-analysis on stream that says the opposite. Michael, you're just wrong about this. You're just wrong. Right?
Even knocking the guys who want to do it. I understand there's a natural longing to have kids and homosexual.
Like I'm sorry, but like what do you think is a more reliable source of information? One study where the person who conducted said study was clearly and unambiguously biased, Or is it the case that, oh, I don't know, a meta-analysis of various different studies that all come from different places, an unbiased meta-analysis, what do you think is generally going to be preferable to defer to? I think it's very obvious.
In a same-sex union can't create kids, which is part of the reason why it's not marriage, but it's still bad for the kids.
Okay. Well, I thank you for correcting me on the word plutocratic. I otherwise completely disagree with everything you said.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I think this guy has potential to be decent at debate. I think that he just, he needs to not under-prepare. Like, he has to prepare for this shit. Like, he has, like, a lot of the right intuitions. He just, like, sort of went in blind, and I think that was a really bad idea, right? Because Michael Knowles has had years of media training, as well as, you know, the experience under his belt, as well as the fact that he's going to prepare for this specific fucking debate, right? He's going to prepare. He's going to think, okay, what are all the possible things that somebody could say in response to me? What do I say in response to that? Like, he's going to have a dialogue tree in his head, and you have to be aware of that, and you have to understand what his dialogue tree is, right? Otherwise, you are at a severe disadvantage, regardless of how bad his positions are. Because granted, his positions are absurdly stupid, but what he has going for him is he has a dialogue tree, and most of these people don't have that. I don't think any of them do. And it's not just that he has a dialogue tree. It's that his dialogue tree includes likely responses that the average person would say in response to the shit that he says. Again, part of that requires you think of possible responses to what you're saying and how you would respond to them.
Well,
and I think most people do too, and that's why the laws don't reflect your opinions on this.
Most people around the world agree with what I said.
All right, guys.
All right.
It's true. In shithole third world countries, they are very anti-gay. It's true. You're not wrong. Did you know in shitty countries like North Korea and Afghanistan that gay people aren't allowed to get married? Holy shit. Wow. You really convinced me. Yeah, did you know that in all of the objectively inferior countries, not in terms of the people, obviously, but in terms of their laws, all of the theocratic regimes, all of the fucking shitholes where they have authoritarian governments, did you know that gay marriage isn't allowed there? Holy shit. Wow.
That's it for this claim. Please return to your seat.
Thank you. Thanks. My next claim is that transgenderism should be eradicated from public life entirely.
Oh, that's a favorite Michael Knowles quote. That's something that I would cite as an example of, yeah, these people are genocidal freaks. We'll get into that in a bit. I want to restart stream because obviously this shit has died in the algorithm. We lose viewers. We lose viewers as we go on, of course. And yeah. But that's just sort of par for the course when you stream in shorts, is the stream dies after an hour-ish. Wait, how long? Yeah, it was about the hour mark. Yep, it's always the hour mark, roughly, that it like starts to go down. Anyways. With that being said, oh, in case I turn this into a video segment, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe with notifications on for more content and leave a like to let me and YouTube know algorithmically that my content is very enjoyable for you to watch. And if you're watching this within the first 7 days of this being uploaded, there should be like a little hype feature. If you've made it this far in the video, surely you've enjoyed it enough to press the little button to hype the video to make it do better in the algorithm. If this does become a video, it's going to be very long and podcasty in a way. I don't know how well it'll. I don't think it would do particularly well in the algorithm, but I want to upload it anyway if I do, obviously. So we'll see. I want to try different stuff. With that being said, I hope you all. Oh shit, my hair's fucked. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. And okay, so that'll be the end of that video, right? Okay, so I can end that recording. Damn, that was almost 2 hours. I don't think I'm gonna upload that. Nobody is subbing? Well, 55,000 people disagree with you. They already did. Like you realize that 55,000 people have? So it's not unreasonable to assume that more would. Saying. I think I'm gonna restart stream. So I won't go anywhere. I'll lag for a sec. Don't leave. Because I'm going to come back and then I will redirect you when... Because there's like an automatic redirect feature that should work. So we're going to use that. So don't go anywhere. Don't. Oh, thank you, Streamlabs. Okay, we're back. We're back. I'm so sorry. I don't know what the fuck happened there. Oh, man. Wow, that was weird as fuck. Okay. I don't know what the hell that was, but we're back, and we're better than ever. We're gonna make it, okay? We're gonna make it. We're in this together. And I accidentally created 2 upcoming live streams. Oopsie. So before I do that, we're gonna go over here. We're gonna turn monetization on, of course, obviously, because I like money. Automatic ads, so I don't have to constantly press the insert ad button every 5 seconds. Oh, and also we're going to do the thing where we put in the playlist, which is over here. Lettuce Maxing is the name of the playlist. Though to be fair, all the playlists are private. I need to make those public at some point. Femyoz, chill, trans, girl. Oh, nope. What the hell? Stop. Girl stream. Okay, save. Then we're going to go over here. Okay. Then we're going to go over to the view and live controller room. Okay, you guys remember lettuce maxing, right? And then we're going to paste the dono link. Okay. All right. And then we're going to go over here. I'm going to go to YouTube Studio. Okay. We're going to go here, add a thumbnail. Select, save. Yes, we're back. Okay, so we selected that thumbnail. Good. Now, what we're going to do is, this is the last thing we have to do. Oh God, what? Where's the button where I can edit the thingy? Is it in manage? How do I? No. Oh no, they do. Oh. No. What? No. This one. Wait, chat, it's working for you, right? Did it break for you guys? Better not have. The button is right there. No, it's fucking not, stupid. The button is gone. The thing where it said manage stream, that doesn't exist anymore. They changed it, which is so dumb. What is this? This is monetization settings. Cancel, discard changes. I'm not trying to change Bro, what the fuck? Dude. Wait, how do I... Dude, I literally don't have a thing to redirect. How do I redirect it to? How do I redirect it? I can't redirect viewers anymore. What the fuck? Wait, what the fuck? Yeah, I guess I'm no longer allowed to manage my stream for some reason. I don't know why. They fucking ruined the layout. It was perfectly fine before. Such bullshit. Okay, edit title and... No. Oh my god. No, dude, where the fuck are you kidding me? Dude, I'm actually pissed off. Dude, what the fuck? Where do I go for this? Community moderation? No. What the fuck? How do I... Dude, this is some bullshit. This is some fucking bullshit. What the fuck? This is awesome. This is great stuff. I love, dude, thank you, YouTube, for ruining your setup. Send feedback. You know what? I am going to send feedback, you fucking bitch. All right, let's see here. The new YouTube studio layout is fucking dog shit. Change it back to the old one, please. In all caps. Okay. We may email you for more. No, I don't want to get emails. Fuck that. Report sent. Thank you. You're welcome. Except nobody's gonna fucking read it. I guarantee it. No, I'm actually so mad. I actually... What the fuck? Wait, where's the button? Dude, I literally have pressed all the fucking buttons. Literally all of them. I pressed this one, which is manage. Right? I've gone over here. Okay? So like if you go here, right, and then you click this, you can edit the title and description, but nothing else. Okay? So it doesn't give me all the options that I used to have. Those are all gone now. If I click on this, it just takes me back to this, which doesn't give me anything. Wait, that didn't give me the... Okay, that's just a stream URL. Additional settings? Edit? Wait, over here? I found it. Oh my god, so they moved it. They moved it for no reason. Customization. Add. Oh my god. I don't know why, dude, why did they have to change it? It was fine before. Oh, so now I have to go over here. I have to go in this mode to see how much chat revenue I have. Wow, that's awesome. I love having to go to like a completely separate tab for it. That's awesome. Wonderful stuff. Thank you. Stream layout, new, horizontal versus horizontal and vertical. Huh? Okay, then. Okay, let me go to stream settings over here. How do I... Okay, so all those settings I think are the same. Man, this shit is so weird. Okay. Lovely. Let me go where... Oh, it's normally at analytics. Sorry about that, chat. If you're, we're gonna start a new stream. We're starting a stream. Sorry that took so long. It's just because YouTube fucking sucks. No reason at all. Nobody benefits from it being like that. So pathetic. So pathetic. Okay. Well, if it doesn't automatically redirect you when the stream ends, then just go to my channel and refresh, and refresh the ever-living fuck out of my channel page until it does. It should, like, on your end, like, lag for a second, and then there should be, like, a little pop-up thingy that says to go to the next stream. You'll want to click on that, and, yeah, I will see you all in the next one, which means 5 seconds from now.